Hello. Hello. Welcome. Hello, Shane. Hello. Hello. How are you? I've been good. How are you been? It's good to hear from you. Did you hear about Andrew? Shane? Did you hear about Andrew? Can you see my lip gloss? Hello. I've been doing great, thank you. Considering I've been to court with Cray. But other than that, I've been doing good. Hello, Demon Dictator. Oh, good. Here, Rockadoo-little. You gonna eat my sandwich? Andrew got arrested for trading secrets. Mm-hmm. I gotta share with Rocky. It's hot, Rocky. Look, it's got smoke coming out of it. There. I gotta share with Rockadoo-little. Hello. Oh, Lordy, what happened to Andrew? Andrew went to jail. He got out of jail, though. We're going to talk about it more today. More pillows. Thank you, Shane. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello, Carla. We're going to have a great day today, guys. I'm relaxed. I'm in a relaxed kind of a mode. Yeah, get down, Rockadoo-little. We're going to catch up on the latest with Nancy Guthrie and Andrew. Okay? Here we go. Hello, Daisy Lee. No, come into the other one, Carla. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I'm trying to find out what's going on.
You know, the first scene that
Get down, Rockadoo Little. Let's see what we got. FBI. Let's see what this is.
The first week before the video came out, then perhaps how he reacted the week after the video came out.
Who is this guy that abducted Nancy Guthrie? Do we have a profile of him? Well, I don't know if the FBI has one, but a guy who's former FBI does. And he says exactly who he thinks this guy is. It's information you're not going to see anywhere else. James R. Fitzgerald is my guest.
Somebody called Dora the Explorer because we got a backpack. It is officially day 22 in disappearance.
I feel like people are getting frustrated because they're not finding out what's going on with Nancy. We feel like we should have known something by now, but we still don't know. So we're going to see what they got going on today. See if there's any updates. See if there's any updates on Nancy. Hello, Daisy. Rockadoo Little, get down.
Nancy Benet Ramsey. So 20 days since Nancy went. So Dora the Explorer because we got a backpack. It is officially day 22 in the disappearance of Nancy Benet Ramsey. So 22 days since Nancy went missing. We don't know where she's at still, but we do have a backpack that has been located. Now, before you jump out of your seat praising Sheriff Nanos, I'm sure he's at home enjoying his day off because he's not the one that found this backpack, nor was it his team. It was actually an independent search party. Remember yesterday, which was day 21. Sorry, my video was mislabeled. Today is officially day 22. But so yesterday, Sheriff Nanos told people that, well, first of all, he's telling people, stop sending in so many tips, like too many tips. Like this is way too much going on. And then there were search party groups. Because
how can you get too many tips? You know? Good morning, Diane. Yeah, I'm up early. Hello, Pickles. Hello, Ellie.
you know, everybody, all the moms on TikTok were like, I'm gonna go find Nancy my damn self. And so everybody went to go find.
He's a little comedic. It is cold where you are, Ellie. Hashtag where's Nancy?
Find Nancy their damn self, and Sheriff Nano said, no, you need a permit to find Nancy. So of course, you know, he's just hindering anybody's ability to gain any sort of insight into this case.
Haters are gonna hate.
But so there was a backpack that was found. It does not appear that it's the same backpack that's in the security surveillance footage. because it is a Swiss Army backpack, and the backpack that they said the perpetrator was wearing was a Ozark backpack from Walmart. So does not appear to be the same backpack, but at least we're finding backpacks. I'm sure Sheriff Nanos will be pissed about this. He's like, stop trying to find evidence. Stop. I'm sure he'll say tampering with evidence, interfering with his investigation, even though we're now officially 22 days in. So I don't know where we go from here, guys. I mean, do we even keep doing these updates? Like, how many more days of this do we have? I know people still like the Nancy Benet.
Yeah, we do continue to do updates. These updates help. They do. They keep Nancy's story alive. You know what I'm saying?
Ramsey updates, but like, I don't know. When do we call in Dog the Bounty Hunter? Brian Enton says he's not leaving Arizona anytime soon. So, I mean, I guess that's positive. I said Brian Enton needs to start looking into Sheriff Nanos. So tell Brian Enton, start looking into Sheriff Nanos, because I have a lot of questions. And also tell Brian Enton that my DMs are open. Okay, thank you.
So last weekend,
Hey guys, so it's day 22 in the search for Nancy Guthrie, near Nancy Guthrie's house. A couple of updates for you. There are volunteer search groups who are out today, which isn't something we've really seen before. They organized, they've been searching sort of the canyons and areas around Nancy's house. They went deep into a dark tunnel. They found a backpack at one point, which does not match the backpack that we saw in the surveillance photos or video. But nonetheless, the Pima County Sheriff's Office came out to pick it up. And some of the searchers are emotional, saying they just feel a connection to the Nancy Guthrie case.
Well, my mother died many years ago, and she would be around Nancy's age now. And if this was her, I would want people to do what they could to help me find my mom.
So the search continues right now with the volunteers. In terms of law enforcement, I haven't seen any action really in the area or outside Nancy Guthrie's house today. Sheriff hasn't given any official updates, although you guys remember he did that interview at NBC News that aired yesterday, where he said that there are challenges right now with testing the DNA in Florida, which is obviously not good news. So I'm going to try to follow up on that, and I'll keep you guys posted from here in Arizona.
There's an update, guys. It's day 22.
Last weekend, the weekend before Valentine's Day, and I do
day 22. They got volunteers out there searching for Nancy.
Hey guys, so it's day 22 in the search for Nancy Guthrie.
What they did over
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Mooney.
And I'm Monica Garcia. Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her home in the Catalina foothills 3 weeks ago today. The 84-year-old's case has generated more than 40,000 calls for leads between the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff Department combined.
Rocky, get down. We stuck.
But there still has been no sign of Nancy.
This investigation heads into a fourth week now. Eric, what happened there today? Eric, think.
Oh, God.
Well, Sean and Monica, it has now been 3 weeks since Nancy Guthrie disappeared. In fact, 3 weeks ago tonight, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos held his first news conference in this case. Nancy had just been reported missing a few hours earlier. Now on day 22 of this search, investigators were back on this street canvassing the area. So let's go to video from a little earlier today. Around 3:30 this afternoon, a few investigators came back for follow-up work and huddled in Guthrie's driveway. They also looked at something on her next-door neighbor's property. They were here about 20 to 25 minutes. One investigator taking a picture of a disappearance flyer written in Spanish and attached to Nancy's mailbox. This weekend, Pima County, at the request of the Catalina Foothills Neighborhood Association, turned Camino Escalante into a one-way road. There are now barricades up to make it easier for trash trucks and other large vehicles to get by. Now, let's remind you of some key active leads right now in this investigation. Investigators are working with Walmart to see if they can find out who bought that 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack, that backpack that suspect was wearing in the doorbell camera video in the middle of the night on February 1st. Investigators trying to recover a signal from Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker. The man at the front door appeared to be carrying a gun in a unique holster. And as we continue to stress, authorities want any home surveillance video within a 2-mile radius from Nancy's home, specifically on the night of Saturday, January the 11th, or Sunday, January the 11th, rather, from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., and on Saturday, January 31st to Sunday the 1st from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. We have links over at kvoa.com where you can send your video to the FBI and the Sheriff's Department. And as week 4 begins in this case, several hundred law enforcement personnel remain here in Pima County on the ground working this investigation. And PCSD says the number of resources will not change on this case until Nancy Guthrie is found or all the leads dry up. We're live tonight in the Foothills. I'm Eric Fink, News 4 Tucson. Let's go back to you.
All right, Eric, thank you for that live report. And while the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI
in Tucson.
Rocky's attacking me. Here, have the bag. Does anyone else think it's weird that the family is out searching for their mom, but strangers are? I know Savannah is famous and all, but is she not willing to go out like normal families do? Just a question. The family isn't. I know what you mean, Ellie. What do you guys think? Do you think that, I don't know emotionally if I would be any good looking for my family member, but it would give me something to do. It would give me something to do instead of just sitting back waiting for something to happen and nothing's happening, Ellie. I definitely see your point. Daisy, this isn't right. 3 weeks missing. What the hell? I know. The first 48. The first 48. Diana's glad it's not just me. Hello, Lisa. Rocky, I'm going to put you on the floor if you don't stop it. Hop back up here. Good morning, Lisa.
On Arizona, we are on day 22 in the search for Nancy Guthrie. And so far, investigators have received more than 40,000 tips, but so far, not one that has cracked this case. The Pima County Sheriff sharing that DNA analysis has been challenging as they're now working with a mixed sample. And now a group of volunteers as well has gathered to help find Nancy. News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton is in Tucson tonight with the very latest. Brian, what more are we learning?
Yeah, the DNA news is not what people were hoping to hear. We talked about that last night, Natasha, that the sheriff is now calling it a challenging situation, that it could take maybe even a year to sort out. People were hoping they would be getting results any day now. In terms of
it could take a year to sort out that DNA sample. That's like a decade. We need answers now. We can't wait a whole year. A whole year? What does that mean? Does that make sense, Mary and Ellie? Do you think if it was one of Savannah's children, she would go out and search? I don't know, Ellie. Good question. That's a really, really good question. But what do you think about the fact that the DNA won't be resolved? It's going to take a whole year. That's not good news. That's not promising news. Sad. Sad, 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 sad. You know, good morning, Diane. Mary Taylor. That's that stupid stuff. It's definitely that stupid stuff. A whole year before evidence can be presented on a mixed blood sample. Do you think if it was of Savannah's children, she would go out and search? I would. I don't think I could be in the house. I think I would be freaking out. I think I would be everywhere, Ellie, trying to find my baby. Shoot. Sounds like ancient technology. Little Rockadoo. I know Daddy's gone today. I am confused about the DNA because they have a sample. I understand that, but they don't have the person it belongs to, so they can't compare it. It sounds like the DNA that they have is a mixture with someone else's DNA. So it's harder for them to detect one person's DNA, which it's basically saying it's going to take a year to separate the DNAs from each other, which I found really shocking. Like Pickle said, the ancient technology that's going down. Why aren't they responding to the random notes TMZ received? Exactly. Fingerprinting them, maybe doing a fingerprint match, just why aren't they doing the stuff that we think that they should be doing to solve this case? I get it. Why aren't they responding to the 5 ransom notes TMZ received? They are telling us they received notes, but they aren't telling us if they are responding. That is true, Lisa. And what does these ransom note people want? I find it very hard to believe that they don't have a suspect, someone, a person of interest. Yeah, it's a mixed DNA thing going on. Like say, for instance, Mary Taylor, my blood was mixed with yours, like a mixture. So they're having a hard time determining the DNA sample. It's like they can't catch a break. The DNA, the backpack, they even got a visual of the guy at the door with trying to cover it up, with those little flowery things, the camera. And I don't know why the perpetrators are reaching out to TMZ. The weirdest situation ever. Oh, wow. Withdrawal from pain medicines can kill a 20-year-old alone, an 85-year-old in distress. Ooh, Diane. Oh, hashtag where is Nancy? It is critical that they find her. There has to be an email address or somewhere they are coming from. Exactly. Why can't they trace these ransom notes back to the perpetrator? I'm starting to see that the investigators are not on the up and up. Are you guys seeing that?
The volunteer search crews. It's the first time we've seen that happen, Natasha, and they all organized today and they searched around Nancy Guthrie's home.
So now they're starting to search, this is weird. It's like now we're going to start searching. Now we're going to start looking for Nancy. It's weird. Shouldn't this search have been orchestrated? I'm not trying to tell them what to do. But shouldn't this situation been orchestrated way before now? 3 weeks later, they're to have a search party. I can't believe they can't find her. Then One News was trying to say they found her, and they were lying. I had to turn it off of it. Just want you to click on their video. There's sick people out there, guys. I think sending ransom notes to news media and TMC is just a distraction. I don't think Nancy truly had a chance from the very beginning. So, Ellie, you think it's a distraction? Do you think they are tied together? Do you think the kidnappers or whoever took her is writing to TMZ? For some reason, I don't think so. And that's just my personal thought. But let me know what you guys think. So I'm very interested in knowing, do you think this ransom note is tied to the people that took Nancy? And they really want some money? Lacey Peterson was missing. A search party went out immediately. Now, 3 weeks later, this just doesn't make any sense. I remember the Lacey Peterson story, and her husband was running around in denial, talking about it wasn't him. Everybody knew it was him at some point. That's a shame what he did to her. He was on death row, trigger warning, but they took him off of that. Ooh. I will say it is really odd that Savannah just released a book about playing kidnapping as a kid. Who does that? I don't know. That is weird. Weird to do.
They searched really in just the surrounding area. They went into tunnels. There's these drainage tunnels, dark tunnels.
Wow, they've been in tunnels.
The rocks. It was quite a search. You can see some video here. At one point, they found a backpack, which the sheriff's office actually cleaned
They found
out
a backpack.
Video,
but
it was just personal for a lot of people from this
backpack.
area who feel a connection to this case. Listen to what one woman told us.
Wow, did these kidnappers commit the perfect crime? Hello, Marine. How are you, sweetheart? Did they commit the perfect crime? Have they gotten away with it? This is really disturbing.
My mother died many years ago, and she would be around Nancy's
Oh,
age
that's
now.
sad.
And if this was her,
Okay,
I would want
Rocky.
people to do what they could to help me find my mom. We can't change the past. We can only
Don't
do
you
what we can today.
start
So the minute I
that.
heard that something had been organized, I was going to show up. So here we are. I didn't know him 3 hours ago, but we've teamed up on this.
You can hear the emotion in her voice, Natasha. I think a lot of people were just sort of waiting, watching law enforcement, but now feel like they want to do something. We've seen the flowers in front of Nancy Guthrie's house grow, and now we're starting to see these search parties. Natasha?
I appreciate that, and all the people who are trying to
Wow,
help in this
look
case.
at
Brian
that.
Enton, live on the ground in Tucson tonight. Thank you.
They're
And for
out
more, we
there
are joined
looking
by
for
genetic
her.
genealogist Cece Moore. Cece, it is so good to have you back. I know so many of our viewers, thousands of our viewers, watching our conversation from yesterday and hoping that this really could lead to the break in this case. First of all, what do you make of the sheriff's office now saying the DNA found in the home is mixed, that there's genetic material from more than one person? Explain to us, is this bad news or is this just a delay in the investigation?
Well, it's very concerning. We have successfully worked a lot of mixture cases.
Yeah, and they both were found separately. It's like she had, I don't want to say the word, trigger warning, aborted the baby in the, if I could say that word. But that's what happened with Lacey Peterson. That was crazy. That's a horror story right there. What he did, what that man did to his wife. He's that's a sicko. You wouldn't even think that someone like him would do such a thing. But I'm finding out those are the main ones. 85-year-olds living alone. Buenos dias, Lady Letitia. Buenos dias to you too, Darcy. And hello. Hola. Mary Wright, very odd. If she's in such poor health, they could have afforded a nursing aid. None of this is normal. None of this is normal. Rocky, are you back up here? You better be a good boy. He's like, whatever, mama. Scott has last three. You know what? He's not on death row anymore. Yeah, he's going to lose all his appeals, but they took him off of that, which is unfair. I don't know how I feel about the death penalty. I may do a show one day on that, get you guys' thought.
Investigative genetic genealogy. So initially I wasn't too concerned about it.
Look at all that
you
blood.
can sometimes have very straightforward mixture.
You couldn't get some more samples?
Actually, I wasn't too concerned about it.
Look at this. Look at this. They got one sample and it's contaminated. There's, you know what? The incompetence is starting to show. Like, oh my God. It's almost, I don't get it. Do you guys get it? Help me out. Make a comment about the blood, Ellie. Because I don't understand why they couldn't get multiple samples. Or, I don't know. I just don't understand where they are not. You guys, does that make sense? You know what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense when I'm saying that, you know, getting more than one sample? I don't know. Maybe the family offered to get her help and she refused. That could be, Maureen, that could be true. When you get older, you just hang on to your independence for as long as possible. But they sure as hell could have gotten her more security. But here's the thing, Maureen. Maureen, they said that she couldn't even walk to the car by herself. Now, if she needed assistance in getting to and from a vehicle, then yes, I agree with you. She should have had a nurse or someone there to help take care of her. You know, you still have your independence because you are living, you're not in a nursing home. You still have your own home out here in no man's land, you know. But I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it is secluded. I'm uneasy about Nancy's case because I sure as heck would have picked her up and driven Nancy home, walked her all the way inside her house, making sure indoor lights were on, nothing looked array, shaking my head. So Darcy, I wonder, did the son-in-law not walk her to the door because apparently she can't really walk that good on her own? So my question to the masses is, did he walk her to the door? And did he not see anything suspicious? When blood drops hits the air, it turns brown quickly. Please tell me how it's possible that blood was from 2 a.m. and 15 hours later it's still red. Ooh, I don't know, Ellie. See, that's some real scientific stuff you just mentioned. Why didn't they have an alarm system? They didn't have an alarm. I have cameras everywhere. Like, you can see every inch of this house. And it's recording. These are good questions. My dad was very independent once. He had to use a walker, see? And maybe that's what she needed, a walker. I moved back in with him and took care of him for the rest of his life. Oh, Lisa, that is so sweet of you to do that for your dad. Now, that's a daughter. Not Megan leaving her dad in the Philippines with an amputee leg and then posting things like business as usual. She's weird. She's weird. She's a heartless she's heartless. I wonder what they think about Andrew's situation. Oh, I didn't know she was as disabled as that. Yeah, that's what I heard on one of our lives that we did, is that she needed help getting to the car. That's a whole different story. She definitely needed a lot of help. That's what I heard, Maureen. On one of the lives we did, that she needed help. Whoever kidnapped her had to help her get into the car because um her just because of her abilities, just because of her age and stuff. No, he watched from his car, watched her go in through garage, exactly, spent 2 minutes, then drove off. Wow, he didn't think to get out the dang on car, Darcy, and help his mother-in-law to the door. I would have been like, Eric, you didn't walk mom to the door? See, my mom would have been like, no, go, go. Because she's got to go in her building and up on the elevator. No, no. That's kind of, what do you guys think about him dropping his mother-in-law off at 80-something years old, having her get out the car and struggle and go in the house herself? Somebody knows something. Megan is an evil cowardoo. Oh, she's a cowardoo. Diane says, Darcy, I did think of about that. It is strange that she wasn't helped in through the garage. It's very common in Arizona for people to go in the house through the garage. We do. I do too. Yeah. I am not saying that the family is involved. I'm saying somebody in the family is involved. What I'm saying is somebody in this family did anything to prevent something like this from happening, and money wasn't an issue for the family. That is true, Ellie. That is true. First of all, she's out there by herself. She's elderly. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's in her 80s. What if something happened to her? Guess what? Something did happen. What if something happens to her? Guess what? Something did happen to her, Tisha. That's a big house for elderly, isolated, lots of hidden places. Yeah, it's huge. She's by herself. Hello, Polo. What's up? How we do? We are the adoos. Adoos. That's what we are over here. The adoos. Welcome, Polo. It's good to see you. So, there is the footage of Nancy getting dropped off that night. Yeah, where is it? Where's the footage of her going in the house through the garage? I'm curious. Why wouldn't they show us that? Her last moments going into the house. I don't believe that blood is really Nancy's. Why did it stop there and not continue? Good question, Ellie. Why did the blood stop right here? Why wasn't it still like, you know what I'm saying? Following her to the car. We are the Letitia Adoos. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We are the adus. That's interesting, Nancy. Your forensic spider buddy, spider senses are coming out. Yes, good question. See, your spidey senses is still kicking. That's a good question. Why is everybody getting cleared so fast, so quick? You haven't even been able to check alibis that fast. It's a sloppy job, that's for sure. Nobody wants to talk about the sloppiness. Polo. We are the adus. The adus in the house. The adus in the house. Yes. Oh God, my hair is so itchy. The adus in the house. The adus in the house. I believe it has something to do with Savannah Guthrie. They said she's not going back to the Today Show. So you think it has something to do with her? I know, Carla. Isn't it cute? Hello, Amanda. Poor lady. Okay, it's going on a month and nothing yet. She's gone, dead. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Ellie the counter. True, Guthrie's kids did nothing to secure Nancy's home. And I would, as a daughter, insisted she have 24-hour health care worker in that large, very large home. Me too, Darcy. Me too. If you're going to stay way out there by yourself, then you need someone there with you, Mom. Yes. Hello. Ellie is, it was confirmed that the blood belongs to Nancy. No, they're saying it's a mixed, Diane. What does that mean? It's a mixture of blood, and they cannot distinguish one, the different blood types, the different bloods. It could take up to a year for them to decipher it. Uh-huh.
Because you can sometimes have very straightforward mixtures where you have the victim's DNA and the perpetrator's DNA, and it's not difficult to deconvolute that, to separate out the perpetrator's DNA that you're trying to identify.
So why is it going to take
the
a
fact
year?
that they are struggling with it tells me this is more of a complex mixture than I had hoped. That could be concerning. If there are multiple unknown people in that mixture, if there are 3 people in that mixture, then it comes down to what are the proportions. If none of those people have over, say, 40% contribution, that could be a real issue. I know we've done cases where there were multiple people.
Why do I think the blood sample was contaminated and they wasn't able to use it? So I'm making up excuses as to why it's not. Only God knows where she is. I pray that she is still alive. Cops are incompetent. I hope I'm wrong, but with no sign that she is alive in all this time with nothing being accomplished. Exactly, Dee. Because look, the neighbors are just now getting out there hunting from, looking for her. You know what I'm saying? Should not have been like the first day. Everything's gone cold. I agree with you, Dee. Darcy, exactly, and an alarm system connected to the police. She's 84 years old. She isn't going to hear something breaking in at 2 a.m. when she is sleeping. Exactly. Diane, that's what we were told. That doesn't make it true. I question the lab results as why didn't the sheriff department let the FBI lab test it? They have a better lab. Why didn't, when Donald Trump, because I heard it, say that he was going to provide resources to help find Mrs. Guthrie, why didn't the sheriffs take them up on their offer? I heard that they were not getting along with each other, which is not even getting along. It's the chief wants to be the chief. Now is not the time because you don't know what you're doing. I mean, allegedly. Also, how is it possible that the police didn't know Nancy had a camera on the roof? There's a lot of things they're not knowing. I live in Tuscan, Arizona, and I exactly where she lives. I sold property there years ago. It's going cold case, says Amanda. It's cold. Ooh, that ain't good. So she just disappeared. Never have I heard of the police releasing a crime scene so quickly. Almost practically the same day. Then they came back out there and then put yellow tape around it. Days later, it was like ass backwards. It really was. It's possible we have been told false information. I don't know. Pickles, good question. Good question. For them not to have a lead or a possibility or somebody in custody, this was a really crappy job. Letitia, when Trump said that the FBI was already there on scene within 24 hours. See, and that's when they should have just handed it over like a gift. Here, take it. We'll follow your lead. Because they know what they're doing. I heard that he's only been on the job for 2 years. Amanda said he's incompetent and stupid. The sheriff knows. Sorry if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly. Oh, he told us conflicting timelines, says Darcy. Hello, singer. Hi, OG Patrice. I thought that was you. Hello, beautiful. How are you doing? I'm going to drop the link just in case. Just in case you want to say hello or something. But hello, OG Patrice. I thought that was you. I said, is that OG Patrice? OG. Yes. Guys, I want you guys to say hello to OG Patrice. For me, put some hearts in the chat for her. She comes and visits every now and then and says hello. Let's show her some love. She's OG Patrice. Oh, it's so good to see you. Oh, what an honor. It's so cool to see you. So the sheriff cleared all of the family, roofers, landscapers, Uber drivers, neighbors, and friends all in few days. They are super detectives. They are. And alibis. Even the pool people were cleared. Have they questioned the aliens? Oh, snap a doolittle. I'm in Arizona, 1 hour away from the house. And oh, really? You're not that far. We were told 6 days in that it was Nancy's blood. So I'm confused. I know, Diane. Conflicting stories. Conflicting stories. Because this lady just said that there is a mixture of blood and it could be more than two people, which is weird. Which would be weird. That's why it makes me believe that somebody's incompetent. You got one job to do. One job. Oh, thank you guys. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Much love to you too. I am still dealing with court, with cuckoo-ness, and I go back to court on Wednesday to see if she gets her fee waiver paid for by us taxpayers. So I'm fighting for that. So we'll see what happens. But it's so good to see you, beautiful. Thank you guys for putting hearts in there for me, my girl. Oh, gee. Marine says next they claim the mixture was Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. See, that's that right there. Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, and we supposed to believe it. We've been getting conflicting stories. We've been following this thing, so we kind of know where the clues and things are happening and what's going on. We're not clueless over here. Just like Diane was like, they told us that it was her blood, and I don't remember them saying that, but they could have, and I just didn't hear it. But that doesn't mean that they didn't. I mean, it's conflicting stories. Uh-oh. Amanda says she is personally finished with this case. Sorry, but by the way, thanks for sharing and streaming. But I'm sick of this case. Bye. Woo! Amanda, don't go. Stay with us. Hashtag where's Nancy? Okay? We got to find out where Nancy is. You can't give up. Question. Is it on purpose, or is it incompetent, or is it on purpose? I feel like we are being misled. I don't think it's on purpose, Diane. I think that it's incompetent. I really do. I really do. OG says, this is strangest kidnapping case I've ever heard of. Unfortunately, I believe Nancy is no longer alive. A lot of us think that same way. We do. Yes. That she doesn't have her medication. She's elderly. She needs, and I heard that she was on some like the pain medicine and just things that she has to have. Oh, wow, Ellie. Didn't know that. Where is the dang 911 recording? We haven't found it. That's a red flag. Yeah, like when did they know she was gone missing? When did they know? Like, how did they find out? Yeah, they playing in our faces, Lisa. I'm gonna call him in. Loves to appear in the spotlight. Hello, Hudson. Good to see you. Guys, do you think that Nancy is what do you think about some of you have already said that you don't think that Nancy is still with us, but you hope. What, Hudson? What's going on with the flag?
In it, but one person, the primary contributor, shared 40% or more. So we were able to identify that person. Of course, I don't know the stats on this one, but the sheriff's update definitely concerned me and, made me a little bit more discouraged.
Yeah,
this case has a lot of ups and downs.
A lot of ups and downs, and I trust that discouragement and that gut feeling from you. Tell me a little bit more about what it means for timeline. Does it take months to disentangle multiple genetic pieces like that, or would they know fairly quickly if this is valueless because they're not able to disentangle these?
Well, I can only go on what he said. And the way he said it made me believe that at the moment they're stuck, but they are hoping for advancements in mixture deconvolution. So because genetic genealogy has been so helpful in so many cases, there are a lot of scientists and academics who are paying much more attention to what we do than they used to. And there are a lot of people researching right now on mixture deconvolution. In fact, one of the bioinformatics scientists from Parabon, where I work, had a grant to actually study.
Lisa, Ellie asked that same question. Where is Savannah and the family? Are they looking? Are they out there looking too? Good question. I don't know how to do a poll. I wish I did. Let me see if I can go in here on notes, media. I don't know how to do a poll. Backup music, sound, create a background. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know how to do a poll. That sucks. Because I would love to do a poll. But we can do one. I just can't do it like how other content creators do an actual poll. So go for it, Darcy. What is the poll on? She said, no, they just waiting at the hotel. I don't believe any of it. Ooh, that woman probably passed years ago. Uh-oh. Between what's going on with El Chapo and Andrew. Oh yeah, we're gonna hit on Andrew too. Separately, they have to keep that public distracted. The public distracted. Oh, Interesting, Hudson. That's an interesting theory. We are seeing all news stations and YouTubers reporting on this. We're the Today Show. This is weird. I know, right? Like, they should be playing this around the clock. They should have, like, updates. That's a good one, Lisa. Good theory, Ellie. Good theory. I like that. I like that. That's really good. Let's get back. Let's see what they're doing.
More on mixture deconvolution. So I'm sure there's many other scientists out there working on this right now. It sounds like that might be what he's getting at, is that we need an advancement here. And this is exactly how we get advancements in the science, right? So it's not totally hopeless. Somebody could come up with a new technique tomorrow or next week. That can help get, this particular person's DNA isolated. The other problem is if there's 3 unknown people, we don't know which one is the one that we need to ID either.
Right. Wow.
So if they've got his DNA, if they're able to isolate her kidnapper's DNA, he absolutely will be identified through investigative genetics.
You know what? That doesn't give me hope. That doesn't give me hope. Well, they could come up with something new tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Be honest with us.
Genealogy, as I've said, it's a matter of time.
Yeah, tell me more about this, because it sounds like it should be easy, right? That
It sounds like it should just be easy.
Genealogy means that law enforcement will have access to these massive consumer databases like 23andMe and all the ones we know, and they'll be able to find a relative who matches the DNA at the crime scene, much like in the Brian Koberger case. But you say there are major public misperceptions when it comes to genetic genealogy. Why is it not that simple?
Well, there are over 50 million people who have taken direct-to-consumer DNA tests, but the vast majority of those people's profiles are in the 3 biggest companies: Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, and MyHeritage. All 3 of those companies have barred law enforcement's use and access.
Oh.
So we are actually limited to the 3 smallest databases, which are Family Tree DNA, GEDmatch, and DNA Justice. And there are less than 2 million profiles.
Did she say they barred them from having access to it, the database? That's what she said. They banned law enforcement from having access to the database. I wonder why. She didn't say. Oh, it's ice cold, says Darcy. Met Savannah and her sister at the hotel, right? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I know that's right, Mary Taylor. Today's show is saying that they are praying for the family, not profiting off of Savannah's pain. That's not profiting, that's helping and letting police handle it. However, why didn't they donate to the reward? Good question. Get it, Ellie. You hot today, girl. Ooh, says Hudson. Hudson, anything is possible because we have not seen the Uber driver or church friends.
Files for us to compare against in violent criminal cases. So that is going to make it much more difficult than if we had access to the 50 million people.
They don't have access.
Many of whom believe we are using their DNA, even though they aren't in the databases that we can access.
If we had access to those 50 million cases, to those 3 big databases, do you think this could be solved in minutes?
I do, but only if they're able to isolate the kidnapper's DNA.
Right, it's this added layer now.
This
kidnapper.
What can I ask What specifically
The
needs to happen to
kidnapper.
compel these three big databases, the 23andMe and others, to help law enforcement in this case? And do you think that that is likely?
Well, I first approached them back in 2012, asking if this was something they're willing to do, and they were very resistant to it and have continued to be. In fact, Ancestry has become so resistant, they've now barred us from even using their digitized records,
Wow.
the billions of records, the public family trees, and their tree building software to do these types of cases. So it's gone the wrong direction, right? They've gotten less willing to help. So I think the only way they would is
Because
if there
people
was a
won't want to
successful
use
warrant.
it.
If the FBI or Pima County,
You're going to have access
them
to
with-
me through there. Then people are not going to want to use your database. That's why they barred them from using it, law enforcement. Get your own database. They should have their own. Yeah, that's what they just said, Maureen. That makes it almost impossible to solve this case. Exactly. 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 Ah! Let's see when they ever mention brands like that. They are trying to make people more comfortable with giving up samples. Okay.
with a warrant for access to their database, which I think is a real strong possibility if they're able to isolate that DNA. It could happen. And I think they have a very strong legal argument. I'm not a legal expert, but based on what I've heard, it's a very strong argument that the attorneys would be making for law enforcement to access that.
What can people do if they want to help on an individual level?
Basically,
well, thanks for asking. They can download their raw.
They could probably
data,
get a court
if they've
order.
tested their DNA anywhere.
They could probably get a court order to have them access that database if needed to find her.
Upload it to GEDmatch, DNA Justice, and Family Tree DNA. And at GEDmatch, they also need to check the box that says that law enforcement can compare against their DNA. And that they can help us solve lots of cases, right? We have hundreds of, I'd say thousands of cases in those databases right now that are waiting to be solved. So even if they didn't help solve Nancy's case, they may give answers to another family or survivor of violent crime.
Cece Moore, great to have you back on again. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download
Right. I won't want to do that either. I would not want to do that either. Let's see. I think, are we done with any more updates from Nancy? I just want to double check. Okay, this is a trip.
Part right down the road on Campbell.
Look at this.
This is just so weird.
Who are you people and what are you doing here? This is our house. What are you doing?
It's a public road.
Filming.
It's a public road.
What are you filming?
We're not filming your house. And we're not filming your house. We're walking. This is a
Yeah,
public
who are
road.
you and where are you from?
Who are you and where are
Media.
you from?
I live here. This is my street.
But we're
What
not-
the hell are you doing?
We're not involved with your house.
Well, then get the hell out of here.
We're walking.
Yeah, well,
You're the one
keep
with the vehicle,
walking.
man. You can get in your
You're
car.
filming, and
All
you
due
have no
respect.
right to film me. You have no right to publish any of
Wow. Check this out. This is one of the neighbors. Okay. Check out the neighbor that got pissed off at the media and like, get away from over here. How rude. Yeah, so now they want everyone's DNA. Girl, bye. When when have they ever broke down a whole brand like that regarding a case? Okay? Going into your ancestries, going into those databases. Wow, but they are locked out, which is interesting. I have another question. Why did someone take the flowers the kidnapper uses but left the stems? Remember, they didn't have the camera footage at the time, so where are the flowers? Good question. Mary Taylor, show you right. Totally acting really like that. Get out of here. You don't belong here. It's so sad. I also have a bad feeling of elderly lady without her medication. I've been praying to her family. Thank you, Evelyn. Yvonne. I like your name if I'm saying correctly. Yeah, she's a little bit of a Karen. She's like pissed off at the media attention. But if it was her grandmother or her mother, she would be like, let them down the road. Right. All right, the kidnappers took Nancy and the flowers, but left the stems with blood droplets. Did they? Shame. See, that's what I mean by incompetent. Listen to this. Listen to this woman. What if it was your grandmother? Or your mother?
Oh, part right down the road on Campbell.
This is just so weird.
Who are you people?
Who are you people?
This is our house. What are you doing?
These are our house.
It's a public road.
Filming.
It's a public road.
What are you filming?
We're not filming your house. And we're not filming your house. We're walking. This is a
Yeah,
public
who
road.
are you and where are you from?
Who are you and where are you from?
I live here. This is my street.
But we're
What
not,
the hell are you doing?
We're not involved with your house.
Well, then get the hell out of
We're
here.
walking.
Yeah, well,
You're the
keep
one with the
walking.
vehicle, man. You can get in your
You're
car.
filming, and
All
you
due
have no
respect.
right to film me. You have no right to publish any of this.
All due respect.
Get the hell out.
You came out on
Yes.
camera. You can hop in your car and go into your house. No one's bothering you.
You can leave.
We were
Keep
walking.
walking.
When we're done with
Keep
what we're
walking.
doing,
Keep
we'll
walking.
leave. We will
But
keep
you're
walking.
filming our property. You have no right
No
to
one's
do
filming
that.
your property. We're not
You
filming
don't.
houses.
Yes, you were. You were filming right up
No,
at the house.
we were filming you until you walked up here. You started filming you once you walked up here.
So you put yourself,
in
on
here.
camera.
You
And
see
you
the
have
camera?
no right to use that footage. For anything, you have no right to use the footage of our house.
Oh.
You walked into our camera.
Well, the sheriff
You
seems
have
to
no
let
right
us.
to be here.
We do.
Get the hell out.
You can go back in your car
I'm
and leave.
sick of this media
Have a good day,
circus
man.
bullshit.
Have a good day, man.
Get
God
the hell
bless.
out of our.
God bless.
Maybe tell your sheriff to do a better job, and we wouldn't have to be here.
What?
You have no right to use the footage of our house.
You walked into our camera.
Well, the sheriff
You
seems
have
to
no
let
right
us.
to be here.
We do.
Get the hell out.
You can go back in your car and
I'm
leave.
sick of this media
Have a good
circus
day, man.
bullshit.
Have a good day, man.
Get
God
the
bless.
hell out of our.
God bless.
Maybe tell your sheriff to do a better job, and we wouldn't have to be here.
They're media, so they think they have a right to do any goddamn thing they want.
Bring
You're
Nancy
lying
home.
pieces of shit.
Bring
Welcome
Nancy
to
home.
America.
Bring Nancy home.
Wow.
Oh, yay! That's how you die.
I think that was a little uncalled for. I'd stay silent. I mean, we're literally just walking down the
Yeah,
street. And I'm
exactly.
talking to y'all while you all are
filming
searching.
her
And she runs up and
Yes.
says, you're filming her house or filming her house. And no one's filming her house.
We're filming you because you walked out your
Wow.
Nancy Guthrie, the mother of today's show co-host Savannah Guthrie, has now been missing for 3 full weeks.
Uh-oh.
This is one of the most heavily covered missing persons cases I can remember in our country. And yet, law enforcement still has not found Nancy, and they still haven't made an arrest. They have not even publicly identified a suspect yet. And the further we get into this case, the deeper we dive into it, the more things we find that simply don't make sense. They don't add up. Today, I want to walk through
Yeah, she
6
was
of those.
scary.
For 3 of these, I think I can actually explain those. They
No,
look
you
suspicious
can't.
at first glance,
We've been
but when
trying to
you
explain it to
understand the law
ourselves.
behind them, they make a lot more sense.
We've been trying to explain it to ourselves for a whole hour now. And we're going to move on. Let's give her a moment.
But for the other 3, I personally am still struggling with these. I'm going to ask you what you think, because I think it doesn't make sense. We're going to start with the 3 that at least have.
None of it makes sense. We're confused. You're confused. The sheriff's confused. Everybody's confused. What clues do they have? Nothing. Fingerprints, tire tracks. Last time she collected mail, debit card, activity, etc., etc., etc. I know that's right. God. Good question, Hudson. I think she said maybe if your sheriff did a better job. That's what I think she said. We wouldn't have to. Yep. If your sheriff, I thought I heard that too, Maureen. You heard that too? The people that were walking. The people that were walking. Shoot. Yes. He said if your sheriff was doing a good job, I wouldn't have to do it. Something's up, guys.
Some legal explanation behind them. Number 1, the DNA seems to make no sense.
No.
You do not have to be a true crime fan to know that DNA testing is the gold standard of law enforcement investigations.
It makes no sense. It's mixed with 2 and 3 blood types. That ain't even making sense. There ain't 3 people's blood in this one situation. Come on, make it make sense.
Because it is so precise. It can find the exact person, the exact DNA.
Yeah.
But of course, you have to find DNA and you have to find a sufficient amount. You might think that would be really hard to do in this case.
Ellie.
We saw the Ring camera video of the man at Nancy Guthrie's store, and the man's wearing gloves. He seems to be covered from head to toe, except for a little bit of his mouth, a little bit of his eyes. How is DNA going to be even left at the scene? But we do know that find gloves about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home that look like the ones the man in the video was wearing. The person who was wearing those would have had to put them on, and maybe there was some touch DNA, or maybe inside the gloves there was touch DNA, so that there was some kind of transfer. It seems like perfect evidence, but no one's been arrested. There are a couple of reasons why. The first problem is that those gloves may not actually be connected to the scene. They were found 2 miles away. And of course, there must be 1,000 reasons to use gloves like that, most of which are completely legitimate. Here's what the sheriff posted on X. DNA evidence from gloves found approximately 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's residence was submitted to CODIS, I'll talk about that in just a minute, and produced no matches. There is additional DNA evidence that was found at the residence that is also being analyzed. He also posted the DNA that was submitted to CODIS was from the set of gloves found 2 miles away. It did not trigger a match in CODIS and did not match DNA found at the property. The DNA found at the property is being analyzed, and further testing needs to be done as part of the investigation. The good news is it sounds like there's even more DNA in the house. It doesn't match the gloves, but it would be incredibly important evidence. Now let's talk about the second problem with this evidence. The DNA that they found only helps if they are able to match it to a person. Law enforcement does not have a DNA database that covers DNA of every single person in the country or the world. So what they do is compare what they have found to CODIS, which is the FBI's combined DNA index system. It has a very limited number of people. Only known situations. It might be people arrested, but it didn't work in this case. There's not a known prior offender who has been connected to the DNA that they found. Now, the next step will be genetic genealogy. Let's talk about what that means. It was done in the Brian Kohberger case. It's where DNA databases have been compiled by people submitting their DNA for testing because they want to learn more about their ancestors and who they are, something like Ancestry.com. Law enforcement might get lucky enough to find a DNA match. If someone's family member, cousin, sister, brother, parent had submitted DNA to one of these databases, they might realize that the DNA is so close that they could look at just the very closest relatives of that person where they would find a match. It's definitely going to be used in this case. And I say that because of what the sheriff told Fox 10 reporter Justin Lum. Justin Lum was interviewing Sheriff Nanos and asked, do you go the genetic genealogy route? Sheriff Nanos said, well, absolutely you do that, but we have other DNA evidence from the scene that is more critical to me than something found 2 miles away. So he's saying, I'm more interested in what was found in the home than the gloves, but yes, we're going to do genetic genealogy. But there is a huge problem with using genetic genealogy. The largest DNA databases, including Ancestry.com, say that law enforcement is not allowed to use the DNA submissions that people have made. Now, why? Well, one reason might be that people might not use Ancestry.com or 23andMe, some of those other types of places where you could send off your DNA. People might not use them if they knew law enforcement could access the information. The Department of Justice has a policy that the federal law enforcement cannot use genetic data from a database. It says law enforcement is to use it. Here's the exact quote. Investigative agencies shall identify themselves as law enforcement to GG, Genetic Genealogy Services, and enter and search FGG profiles only in those genetic genealogy services that provide explicit notice to their service users and the public that law enforcement may use their service sites to investigate crimes or to identify unidentified human remains. So in other words, the Department of Justice has told law enforcement, if you are told this database is off limits to you, then you can't use it. You aren't allowed to look in that database to find a match. There are some that will allow law enforcement, but if the specific database says you can't, you aren't allowed to use this, then they're supposed to not do it. In the Brian Kohberger case, this became a huge issue. The defense claimed that the FBI had just blatantly decided yet. So the real risk to law enforcement is it's not enough to figure out that there's a DNA match. It would be catastrophic if they figured that out and then that critically important evidence got ruled out. They also have to do it in a way where the judge is going to say, yes, I'm going to let you use this at trial. They have to be very careful. One interesting note, Sheriff Nanos has been pretty heavily criticized for sending the DNA to a private lab in Florida instead of giving it to the FBI to analyze.
What an idiot. There it is right there. Instead of giving it to the FBI, he gives it to some lab in Florida. He wants to do it himself, but he wants to come out a hero, and he needs to get with the FBI and stop horsing around. What do you guys think? Did anybody count her medication to see if any meds were missing or was the correct amount being taken? Wow, you guys need to be on the scene. Ellie and Hudson are the new forensics. Forensics gurus. They're getting down to the nitty gritty. So many questions that should have been answered. Exactly, Ellie. I forgot what I was saying.
Has been pretty heavily criticized for sending the DNA to a private lab in Florida instead.
He sent it to a private lab in Florida instead of giving it to the freaking FBI. See, that's the incompetence. That's that stupid stuff. That's that dumb stuff. He sent it somewhere in Florida. They can't figure out what blood it is. So now it's all twisted up in Florida. And it should be with the FBI. Yes. Darcy. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. He has messed this up. Why didn't he give it to the FBI? That's common sense. Rich old lady taking an Uber. Gee, what could go wrong? Okay. I know Mary Taylor, everything. She's missing. No one knows where she is. And she's been missing for 3 whole weeks. And he's playing around with the DNA and won't give it to the freaking FBI so the FBI can look in their database and figure out what's going on and use their forensics. The FBI has better equipment and better stuff. I think if I was Savannah, I would have been like, look, Sheriff, what the hell are you doing? You're screwing this up. Does the family know the Uber driver dropped her off? Where is the evidence she even ordered an Uber? I thought the son-in-law dropped her off at home. I thought the son-in-law dropped his mother-in-law off at home that night. Where's the Uber driver coming in at? It seems like they don't want the FBI involved at all. Is it an ego thing with the sheriff? He wants to come out like he's the hero. Like he wants to solve the crime, I guess. I don't know. But he's moving in some directions that are not good for Nancy. Because I would have, if I'd have known the FBI was going to come in and assist, I would have told the Florida lab to hold up, put that back together again, send that back to me. I'm giving it to the FBI. Yeah. Be a hero later. Figure out where Nancy is first.
Instead of giving it to the FBI to analyze. But there's one thing nobody is thinking about, which is there could actually be an advantage to using that Florida lab for genetic genealogy, because the FBI is governed by the DOJ policy, but it's not really clear that those rules are going to apply to a lab in Florida that's not connected. So if they run the genetic genealogy through them, it might be less problematic. The DNA looks like something that doesn't make sense, but when you look at the law behind it, a lot of what you can see going on does kind of make sense. It may be just a matter of time until they actually get some heads. The third thing I think that doesn't make sense, that's kind of something we can explain, is the entire matter of the Tommaso Cioni. Early on, journalist Ashley Banfield said a private source was telling her that law enforcement had suspicions about Cioni, the son-in-law who's married to Annie Guthrie, one of Nancy's 3 children. Now, that's not really entirely unlikely.
Look at her. Look at her. You know, I've been thinking a little bit in my brain cells that, you know, it's an inside job. I'm not saying that the son-in-law did this or whatever, but I find him a person of interest because he was the last one to see her alive. Didn't he drop her off? At least that's what I was told. Bye, Darcy. Bless you, girl. And we're going to move on to Andrew, guys. But I just want to know your thoughts on the son-in-law. I mean, nobody's accusing the son-in-law, but do you think it's an inside job?
Likely, it's not, frankly, even all that surprising, because law enforcement always considers the family. He was the very last person to have seen Nancy Guthrie alive, other than whoever took her. So it would make sense that
he was the last one to see her alive.
They would at least be considering that. But things really heated up around Sione because law enforcement appeared to be kind of doubling down on investigating him. They searched his home and then canvassed in the neighborhood on February 5th. And then on February 7th, they did another search at the home. Law enforcement at that time was in the home for several hours. They took photos and they left with a bag, and a sheriff's deputy was seen even wearing blue latex gloves to be careful not to contaminate the scene. That already seemed really odd, unless somehow Sione was a suspect. 84-year-old.
That's odd. Did you hear that? I didn't know they were all in his house taking things out of there. The son-in-law, they had a bag and they had on gloves and were taking things out of the son-in-law's house. So they got a bag full of goodies. I wonder what they're going to do with them. Exactly, Ellie. Everyone is under suspicious. Everyone is a suspect. Hello, Miss T. Hello, Lady Letitia's first time on your channel. I don't know much about this case, but have they looked into the son-in-law? I know that's right. Now, according to this young lady, she said that they have been to his house, went through his house, questioned him, took some things out of his house, and so far, that's it. But for them to take things, remove things from the house and have on gloves, that's suspicious to me. But of course, they don't want to contaminate anything. So most likely they will use gloves like they're doing with Andrew, which is who we're going to slide into next. The case gets stranger by the day.
Nancy Guthrie spent.
What I like about this lady right here, Lawyer Lee, is that she's breaking down the points for us. Everything that we know, she knows too. Like, we know about him dropping her off at home. Now we know about them searching her house, his house, the son-in-law's house, with gloves and removing things from them. You know, it's good question, Darcy. I didn't see that. Who actually called 911? That's a good question. I don't know that. Where's the recording? When was that call made? Yes, good question. Those are some good questions. Letitia, you asked how the Uber driver fits into this. The Uber driver took Nancy to the daughter's house. Oh, I see. I see now, Ellie. Thank you. Thank you for that. That makes sense. She took the Uber there. Guys, Ellie, and I know you've already said this. Did they interview the driver? The Uber driver? Yeah, Mary Taylor. Could be. It's just so weird that she would just disappear like this. It's just a weird situation.
Spent the evening with her daughter Annie and her son-in-law Tommaso Sione. And around 9:48 p.m., Sione drops Nancy Guthrie back off at her house. At 9:50, her garage door closes. So the fact that they're looking at the Sione home means they must have thought there was some reason to do that. Did they think Nancy had been brought back there? Was there some reason to think she hadn't even gotten home that night, even though that appears to be what happened? Agents were actually seen carrying a silver briefcase into the home. They may have been looking at digital evidence from the family computers. So all told, there has been a lot of speculation around Sione, even about his appearance. He has a mustache. So does the man at the front door. Although his is a little more salt and pepper than what you see in the man at the front door, but they might be about the same size. There's actually been a lot of debate about that, whether he's actually bigger or the same size as the man seen in the door cam video. The man in the video also seems to have kind of a softened chin, like maybe having a beard. He only has a beard. There was a lot of confusion when over the weekend the sheriff said, well, everyone's a suspect. And then on February 16th, put out this post on X. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it's cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. Why would the sheriff's office investigate Sione so much if it appears he didn't do it? I think there are actual legal explanations for that. In a 1995 case called Kyles v. Whitley,
I don't want to hear about the case, but
put out this post on X. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it's cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. Why would the sheriff's office investigate Sione so much if it appears he didn't do it? I think there are actual legal explanations for that. In a 1995 case called Kyles v. Whitley, the U.S. Supreme Court said a defendant is entitled to present evidence that the police failed to pursue leads, that they should have looked harder. They just fixated on this new person, the person who is arrested ultimately, when they should have been considering whether other people might have committed the crime. Stated on this new person, the person who is arrested crime. That defendant could argue to the jury that the police failed to pursue leads, that they should have looked harder. They just fixated on this new person, the person who is arrested ultimately, when they should have been considering whether other people might have committed the crime. So by investigating Sione, law enforcement can legitimately say, we investigated thoroughly. We looked as hard as we could. We even looked at the idea that family members were involved, and they're not. Now I want to get to the three things about this case that I just can't make sense of. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, because I don't know. I'm trying to figure them out, but these are things that just don't seem to fit. Number 4, the timing to me makes no sense. According to a timeline released by the sheriff's office, there was a 40-minute gap between when Nancy Guthrie's doorbell was disconnected and when her pacemaker app disconnected from her phone, which you would think might mean she was being taken away from the property. Around 9:48 p.m., Sione drops Nancy Guthrie back off at her house. At 9:50, her garage door closes. Now, what happens after that is kind of like a feverish nightmare where terrifying moments come briefly into bright focus, and then we go back into darkness, and we never really get a full picture. Here's what the sheriff said in a press conference.
Early morning at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself. It just kind of loops, right, and covers up. That's what our analysis teams have told us. We're not done with that. We'll do all we can, but that's what it says. So it detects a person on camera. Could that be an animal? I imagine that's possible. We don't know that. We just have no video, but we're not giving up on that. 2:20, Nancy's pacemaker app shows that it was a disconnect from the phone.
When you get to thinking about the timeline, this is really bizarre. At 1:47, someone disconnects the doorbell camera at the house. The video wasn't saved yet. Somehow the FBI was able to recover it. At 2:12 a.m., something is detected on the camera at the house. It sounds like nothing was recovered there. Then another 16 minutes pass before Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker app disconnects from the phone at 2:28 p.m. So from the time that the camera was disconnected, the intruder was presumably inside the house for 40 minutes. That's a really long time. What was the person doing? If this was a kidnapping, this is just strange. I mean, how long could it take for a burly man to subdue an 84-year-old woman in fragile health? If this was a...
He was in there for 40 minutes. That's a long time, guys. That's quite a bit.
Kidnapping, wouldn't it make more sense to quickly grab the victim and hightail it out of there? And if it's not a kidnapping, then why are they there? Let's say it was a burglary. 40 minutes is still a very long time to be in a home To me, the whole length of time
Right,
is very
Lily.
odd,
It makes
and I can't
zero
explain that.
sense.
If you have a theory, please let me know in the comments. Now, the fifth thing that
Why were they hanging around the house for so long? And for them to be in the house that long, that speaks volumes, because you're not afraid that, you know, someone's going to come to the door, or Nancy's daughter might show up, or somebody might show up. You're just floating around in the house for 40 minutes, like with twiddling your thumbs. No, that doesn't make sense. What makes sense is it's an inside job for somebody to be in our house that long. I have a mustache and a beard. The menopause gave me them as a gift, but I shave them daily so I don't look like a man or a garden. Maureen, you are so funny.
that to me doesn't make sense is the sheriff's adamant refusal to say whether there was forced entry at Nancy Guthrie's home that night. Why? Why not just tell us that? Yet the sheriff has very firmly refused to answer that. He told Justin Lum, I'm not going to get into the entry of the home or forced entry or any of that. What I'll tell you is I believe, just as I had initially, that Nancy was removed from that home against her will. She was kidnapped, and we still believe that. Here's what the sheriff said at a press conference.
So he's not telling us if it was forced entry or if they let that person in, or, you know, how was the entry? That's very important.
Mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes. We have been very consistent. We are not discussing that at all. Whether it's forced entry or not forced entry, that is something we're just not discussing. So I don't know where anybody.
We're not discussing it. Why is it a secret? Don't rule out the sheriff being involved. That's what I'm saying right there. Maybe he's involved. Maybe he did this purposely to boost up his career. I don't know. But some may add up with the sheriff. Why doesn't he want us to know that? Moving on.
Got that information. Sunday morning.
It just seems like an odd thing for the sheriff to take a stand on. It seems like there's kind of one obvious answer, and it's not all that important. So the fact that he won't talk about that makes you think, well, maybe there's something out of the ordinary about that. Maybe for some reason there really was no forced entry. If that's the case, then did Nancy leave the door unlocked that night, or did the person have a key, or did someone tamper with the door in advance so that it wouldn't lock? They may be holding back, the sheriff's office maybe, in case someone comes forward. That way law enforcement can verify that they actually know the truth about how the people entered the home. But it's just one of the things that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, the last point is number 6, the ID.
I think if it was forced, it's not forced entry. They're keeping that a secret. Because if it wasn't forced entry, then it's an inside job, you think. You know, some kind of way they get in the house. I think it was not forced entry.
Yeah, that Nancy
he doesn't want to tell us. He's making it suspicious, isn't he? He's putting suspicious behind this stuff I do. Savannah wrote a book about kidnapping. I mean, what's up with that? You're right, Mary Taylor. Somebody else said that too. To spend that long in the house, there must have been a lot of DNA, surely. Yes, just weird to do. Yep, touching stuff.
Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped makes no sense to me. When you think about the exchange, the kidnapper wants to control the victim until the very last minute. They don't want to be caught. The victim's family wants to be sure they get the person back alive. They don't want the victim to be hurt. Awkward, very difficult situations. Usually, the kidnapper would contact the family privately. Come alone, don't bring the police.
Right.
And instead, the person demanding Bitcoin in this case sent the demand to the media, which would be absolute maximum public attention. When you have that kind of public attention, how is it ever going to work to make the transfer? You can imagine copters and drones hovering over this as there's an attempt to make this exchange. Also, apparently, they have not provided proof that Nancy Guthrie is alive. And if the kidnappers don't do that, why would the family ever pay? Why would they ever think that whoever's making the demand actually has her? None of it seems to really fit with this.
Yeah, how in the world are you going to demand all this from me from TMZ, and you're not even letting me know that my loved one is still alive? I have no indication.
Being a kidnapping. And if it is a kidnapping, it seems really inept. So if you can think of how this makes sense, please let me know in the comments below. We'll keep following the case. I hope they will find Nancy Guthrie soon and that she is completely healthy. I hope they catch whoever did this. Be sure to like and subscribe as we follow this case, hopefully to the conclusion where Nancy Guthrie found alive.
Yeah, I like that.
Joining me at Delight to Save the Show, regular now on a Monday, Benedict Spence, Conservative commentator. Morning to you.
Good morning. Did I hear that correctly? You can call in about any topic.
Oh God, what did I say? Because I think
this could be quite fun.
Keep it clean. To be fair,
there's all sorts of things.
They have a habit of choosing. If I've got it wrong and it's not the subject of the day, they've got a very big habit. My lovely audience of telling me when I've got it wrong, which is the joy of the show. It's also why we are not as out of touch as the BBC is kind of thing. They block response. It saves the government a bit. No, that it's all. There are 2 different police investigations. Well, there are about 12 different police investigations, different police forces, and they go at different paces.
Yeah.
And there are decisions that are made in terms of the evidence you can actually use to even arrest somebody. I mean, they don't need it if it's true.
I think all of that stuff is going to come out in the wash either way. I think that there's too much public focus on it, although I do think that it needs to be reiterated that we can't simply use that as an excuse to try and do that.
Yeah.
When it comes to the question of whether or not we need a treason probe, I think that is very dangerous territory to go down. Example of that is the Chagos deal. A lot of people are looking at the plans to abolish jury trials and wondering, is that really in the interest of the British people?
Philip Hammond, when he was chancellor,
not the same sorts of things, but it's the same sort of culture that we see repeated
over politics. And again, it's not just in Britain, America. It's a French minister or something who's lost their job. I mean, this is all exposure everywhere. All these people just hanging around with dodgy people. Joining me at Delight to Save the Show, regular now on a Monday, Benedict Spence, Conservative commentator. Morning to you.
Good morning. Did I hear that correctly? You can call in
Hey
about
guys,
any
we're
topic.
going to move on.
Oh God, what did I say? Because I think
this could be quite
Okay.
fun.
Keep it clean. To be fair,
There's all sorts of things.
they have a habit of choosing. If I've got it wrong and it's not the subject of the day, they've got a very big habit, my lovely audience, of telling me when I've got it wrong, which is the joy of the show. It's also why we are not as out of touch as, the BBC is kind of thing. They block responses, or they just, this is what we think you should be talking about. Sod off. Oh, we'll decide. Thank you. Yeah, the people who decided, we'll decide what we're talking about. Thank
it first seemed that the man formerly known as Prince Andrew would be finally and totally destroyed for being a sleaze, a man who slept with a teenager, 17-year-old.
He called him a sleaze.
Trafficked to him by his friend, convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, now dead. But that is not why he's now plastered all over the world's newspapers, looking absolutely shocked and shattered after being arrested. No, he's been arrested for misconduct in public office involving suspected financial crimes, which is exactly the downfall that was predicted last year by Andrew Lowney in his latest book, The Rise and Fall of the House of York. Now, you might recall that Andrew Lowney on my show last year said, yes, the attention was on Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's sex scandals, claims that he'd slept with 1,000 women, that was in the book too. But the biggest story was how he mysteriously got so rich. The biggest story was his abuse of office. And Andrew Lowney joins me again. Andrew, thank you so much for your time. Well, I've got to say, you were absolutely right on the money. What specifically are police investigating?
Well, they're looking into misconduct in public office. There clearly is a lot of evidence, particularly now from the dump of Epstein material, which kind of backs up, as you say kindly, what I found in my research. I don't think that this precludes an investigation into sex trafficking. And I think we're also getting a new era, and I'll predict this to you, and that's national security. One of the problems was that Andrew was also leaking defense and military secrets. That's now being hinted at by officials in Whitehall. It's certainly what I found in my research and couldn't put in for all sorts of legal reasons. And in fact, I've now got access to various reports, this is one of them here, from American intelligence, showing that he had been basically subdued by Russian intelligence. So this story is getting bigger and bigger, and I'm afraid Andrew is getting into deeper and deeper waters.
Russian intelligence now. Golly gosh. Well, there were already been hints that suggestions that Jeffrey Epstein was being funded by, in some way used by Russia as well. So goodness knows where this is going to go.
Russia.
How much more, apart from that, do you think is going to be used against him? Because your book has countless examples of Mountbatten Windsor using his position as a trade envoy, in particular for Britain, taxpayer funded, and a royal, to make money. Apart from the Russian angle, apart from the defence secrets, what else do you expect?
Yes, well, I mean, I think, these leaks and the things that I found, and there's a lot of material I can now put in, which was taken out for legal reasons or because people didn't believe it. But he was shoehorning in meetings for some of his business associates, asking ambassadors to fix these meetings. He was bringing people, including his daughters, Jeffrey Epstein and others, a point man he had called David Stern, who was inserted into his entourage, all doing business really on his behalf. He was even he was doing a whole series of things which were really about lining his own pockets rather than actually supporting British trade efforts, including in places like Afghanistan, where, of course, British troops had died, and only very recently.
Wow.
And Kazakhstan as well, for some reason. Now, in your
Andrew's in
book,
trouble.
you devote some time to his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, and I just wonder whether she's in danger as a world-class grifter as well, because the emails of Jeffrey Epstein show her acting absolutely appallingly, and not just the sensational stuff, helping to set up meetings between that pedophile and her own goddaughter, for heaven's sake, and also her own daughters, and telling Epstein of another woman that you may marry her too, she's single, she has a great body, okay, well, marry me, and then we'll employ her. But then again, there's the financial links, with one email from Epstein saying he supported her financially for 15 years, Andrew. What did she do for him in return?
Yeah.
Well, Sarah Ferguson gave Epstein the sort of entree into Andrew and into the royal family, but who knows? I mean, there's still a lot more to come out. But you're absolutely right. Sarah Ferguson is a material witness to the sex trafficking, to what was going on in Epstein's home. She was often a regular visitor there, and she should certainly be testifying to the Senate. But there's also HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, should be looking at it. The Companies Act, I think she broke. The charitable laws, charitable things that she broke running of charities. So I think she's definitely worth investigation as well, and she should certainly be questioned about the misconduct in public office, as should his daughters, who accompanied him on many of these trips and used these trips to basically get contacts which they're now exploiting themselves.
Oh, it just gets worse and worse. Where is Sarah?
Pause it. Did you hear what he said? Wow, I'm getting stuck. Are you guys here? Are we back? Are we back? Oh God, are we back? Let me close some of my windows out. Let me close some of my windows out. That's what Demon Dictator would tell me to do. Letitia, close your windows. Okay, I think I did enough. All right. OMG. Are we here? Am I slow? The kidnapping note has got to be a red herring. Andrew Lowing has spent years researching. He'll know everything that went on. A lot of what he knows can't be revealed for legal reasons. I love it if he could tell all, says Marine. Hi, Carl. Oh, mostly what God does. That's the name of the book. Hi. Hello. Oh my goodness. He said he can't even tell, but he said that Fergie needs to be investigated too. What do you think about Fergie being investigated as well as being an accomplice? What do you think, guys? Huh? An accomplice? Do you think she's an accomplice? Fergie, who is funding Sarah Ferguson for 15 years, he said Epstein was funding her for 15 years. That's what I just heard. They should find out what close to him know. Oh. Like who, Carl? Like the brother? Wow, King Charles is in trouble. If you think his brother needs to be, the King of England needs to be questioned by the police, that's big. Family members. Ooh, the King of England. Family members. You're talking about Fergie and the kids. Fergie was an accomplice. Ooh, you think they'll pick her up? Spouses. The spouses. You think they'll pick up Fergie? Fergie is hiding. She hasn't came outside to say hello. How are you? What's your name? Excuse me, miss. What's your name? Where are you coming from? Yes. Fergie. Oh, Fergadoo. Fergadoo-doo. Oh, Ferg. Oh, Fergadoo. We got some questions for you, oh, Fergadoo. Yep, you're right. Fergie. Ferg. Fergie-doo. Fergie. Fergadoo. Fergadoo. We want to talk to you.
Ferguson now, do you know? Because I've read reports that she's in the United Arab Emirates and broke. I've also read reports that she spent a month at a luxury Swiss resort that costs $25,000 a day. And it's a resort that she has promoted before. Here she is.
To thank you in deep gratitude for giving me a safe harbour in the storms of life.
You often get these trips for free.
How could
I think
Sarah Ferguson do that?
Well, I mean, people are mad. People were upgrading her, giving her freebies, I mean, until pretty recently. And in some ways, you think that the spa has got an enormous amount of publicity because of her visit there. So, I mean, there's probably some method in their madness. But yeah, she's in the Middle East. It's the one place where she still carries some sort of respect. And she's busy.
Oh, Fergadoo. They said you have fled. Fergadoo flees aimed Epstein scandal. Oh, Letitia, sorry I'm not available today. Family concern has me away from your live. Oh, I hope everything is okay, Cece. So sorry. I'm so sorry. I hope everything is okay. Oh, Fergie. Oh, Fergadoo needs to be arrested a do. Very soon a do. She's missing in action. She has fled. She is away from the scandal. She is not even in the same. Normally, she would be breathing down Andrew's back. But Fergadoo is gone. Fergadoo is gone. Okay?
Trying to get money off various rulers there. That was one of the problems when Andrew was a trade envoy. He was trying to sell his house and catch money off them.
How could they still have respect for her over there?
Well, I mean, some of them don't have the greatest reputation. One of their great friends, MBS, chops up journalists. So Sarah Ferguson is small beer compared to some of these people.
Okay. Lastly, what now for the royal family? I mean, I think the king has done.
Stand by your man. She didn't stand by her man. She left him out in the cold. She said, I'm out. Every man for themselves. They're coming. I think they kicked her out of the castle, though. I think she got smoothed out.
As well as could be expected in divorcing himself, kicking from his brother, kicking him out of that royal lodge, saying the law must take its course. We've seen also Prince William giving the absolute coldest of cold shoulders to his uncle. How much of this stink is going to surround the royal family? Or do you think people will say, look, every family has got one of them. Unfortunately, the royals do as well.
No, everybody don't have one of them. This is unique. He's a PDO. Everybody don't have one of them. No. This isn't business as usual. It's okay. He's done this. So let's move on. Nothing to see here. Oh, he's done that and traded secrets to Russia. Did you say Russia? That you were going to put it in the book, but you didn't because of legal reasons? Either they wouldn't believe you or whatever. Look at this man. He looks like he's innocent. Like he's telling the truth, don't he? He just does. But he also looks nefarious to me. Like he's only out to tear the family down, not to put anything positive into anybody's pocket. He said that King Charles knew. I beg to differ. I'm still on the fence with that. Don't pay me no attention. Because I know my chat thinks otherwise. Yes, and it's okay. Difference of opinion.
Well, I think the problem for the royal family is that they've known about the Andrew problem for years. They actually shut it down. I mean, people were complaining to the palace about Andrew's behavior. I mean, former heads of the Foreign Office, intelligence officers bringing them details of bribes, etc. And they did nothing. They tried to close the story down. There were legal threats, denials, all sorts of things were done. Pressure was put on people saying they wouldn't give access to members of the royal family for interviews. So it's now been shown that the king was warned about his brother 6 years ago and did nothing. And I think they clearly didn't expect this Epstein dump of material, which has kind of caught them. But I think there are increasing calls.
See, and he's using the word, I think, maybe, and they knew years and years ago, and I believe they did this. I believe he's speculating a little bit, guys. Am I right? The late Prince Philip couldn't stand Fergie. I don't.
Charles is compromised by this scandal, that the only way out is for him to abdicate.
No, see what I'm saying? Who are you to tell the king to abdicate? I think it's foul. I think it's foul. Shame on him. I think it's foul. Who are you to say that? No, I don't agree with it, Andrew. Only thing for him to do is to abdicate. No, he's running the country. He's doing what he needs to do. He's taking care of what he needs to take care of. And he is allowing his brother to be picked up, shipped off to prison. Yes, he is not standing in the way of that. They better hope Meghan don't start talking. Don't nobody believe nothing Meghan say.
Pass it on to William, who is so far been seen to be completely clean and has been pushing for Andrew to be dealt with for years. So this crisis is actually getting bigger. And clearly there's a big attempt at the moment to save the king. But even very respected commentators like David Dimbleby here, who commentated on royal occasions, is very critical about the royal family. They certainly need to, I think, introduce more transparency and accountability.
Like they're doing everything that they can to minimize the blow that this is happening to them, that they got to deal with Andrew and they think he's disgusting, and that he is the brother of the king. Like, they have to deal with this on so many levels. And for Andrew to just come out and say, oh, you need to abdicate, is unfair. Like, it's like, yeah, like it's nothing.
If they are to survive.
They are going to survive through this scandal. It's going to hit it. Their reputation is going to get hit bad. Yes, she does, Carl, because I have stopped talking about her. I don't care what Megan is doing. She ain't doing nothing but scamming people on that scammer jam, running around trying to hang out with who's who, and George Clooney and them. Did she know George Clooney was in the files? Oopsie doopsie. Oh, Megan needs to be figuring out her skeletons. She's got Tyler Perry's situation, essay situation going on, and she's got George Clooney being in the Epstein files. Excuse me. And her brother-in-law has been in the Epstein files. So there. Okay, I'm here now. 3-hour call with my sisters. Woo! Life is crazy. Oh, I know how it can be, Cece. Hang in there, girlfriend. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's my bed. It's my bed. Yeah, I just decided to just do it from the bed today. So bear with me, guys. Marine says, I think if the king removed Harry and Meghan's titles, I suspect the public would have more respect for him. I know I would. Oh, I would too. I would just go and get rid of them. And take Beatrice and Eugenie's too. Because don't we need to take their titles too? People are not going to be fair in unfair world. She is in the files. Yep. That is what Paula said. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, that is fascinating. What do you think the king's motive was? Loyalty to his brother, or attempt to minimise damage to the royalty?
I think it was the latter. I mean, there've been lots and lots of scandals which have been hidden over the years and never come out, and that seems to be their preferred way of operating. If they can shut something down, then that's what they'll do. But unfortunately, they've been caught out because of these Epstein leaks. I think without them, they would have been fine. I mean, no one was calling for investigations after my book came out in August, or when Virginia Giuffre's book came out later. And we have had a steady drip feed of pretty awful allegations against Andrew actually now for 15 years in the press. So this isn't new, and I think this is a crisis of their own making. If they'd actually addressed this, they could have marginalized it much
What
earlier.
do you mean
Also,
address
they're actually
Just that stupid stuff. Address it. They have been addressing it. They have stripped him of his titles, stripped him of his duties, stripped him of his home. What else is arrest? The latest thing is the arrest. Like, I just don't know what more of like a company or institution like the monarchy could do to ostracize him to the point where they stripped him of everything.
or until
Andrew
December,
Downey.
preventing.
You did warn, and I urge people to read your book, The Rise and Fall of the House of York. Thank you so much for your generous time. Appreciate it.
Last week on holiday.
Good. Come on.
We say a very good morning to a man in a hurry. Matthew Torbett, former Labour advisor. How are you, kiddo?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. We've also got Trevor Kavanagh. I'm in the middle there on the right and the left. Morning, Trev. How are you?
Good morning. Hi.
I'm good. Fantastic to have you here. Where do you want to start? Let's start with, I mean, what a week to take off, not. The whole royal debacle. Tom Tugendhat was on the show this morning. He says it could go as far as treason. We have to be careful because of, you know, the ongoing saga. But I have I'm a royalist, but I believe the monarchy is in real trouble.
I would agree. I think this can't help but impact other aspects of the monarchy because it will open up questions for people of what did they know? Did they know?
Put a 1 in the chat if you think the monarchy is in trouble. Put a 2 in the chat if you think they can overcome this. Ooh. Marine says they're in some trouble. Pickle says they're in some trouble. Cece believes that they can overcome it like I do. So far, it's a tie. So far, it's a tie. Carl says no. No. They will not be able to overcome this. Wow. That's big news right there. That's big news right there. They will not be able to
There's definitely potential to tarnish the Queen's legacy. I'm not a massive royalist, but I respect what the Queen did and the service that she gave, and I think most people did. She paid him 12 million. Ultimately, he's not been arrested for offences related to Virginia Giuffre or anything else at the moment. But ultimately, he paid off her with money his
mess up
mother lent him or gave him as a gift. And that's dirty money. That's tarnished money. I think people probably didn't like it in the first place. Looks even worse now.
To be honest, Trev, and I said it at the time, I don't mean to be rude.
Why would it mess up her legacy? Why is the sins of your son? Like, I don't get that. I don't get it, but...
Can I borrow 12 million? What for? Okay, so you don't pay somebody off unless you've got something of a conscience, and we have to be careful. But and the Queen, I'm with Matt. We all love the Queen. But the problem now is they think that Charles was aware. That implicates him. That tarnishes him. And I said it earlier. It might be that the only way to save the monarchy is for Charles to fall on his sword and to start with a clean slate with William and Kate.
No.
Well, you said a mouthful there, Jeremy, including the position of the Queen, who I...
No. No. But King Charles, I think their power will supersede any takeover. I do too. No one can be like Her Majesty. That is true. But is that messing up her legacy? They're trying to dig into the Queen's legacy. Are we there? Are we with it? I know it's early. Hold on.
I think is being looked at in a slightly different light today than she was in the period up to and after her death. I mean, Andrew is the product of this mess, which the Queen bequeathed to him. He was spoiled by the Queen, spoiled, literally rotten.
All right.
And I think that you're right also that the spotlight now falls on Charles. So as I think I've mentioned before, there were questions over the Fortnum and Mason carrier bags full of brand new euros, 3 million euros worth, that he carted away from Abu Dhabi after a visit there. So these sort of things will spread. And this is going to go on for a very long time. If Andrew ends up in court, it won't be soon. It will probably at the end of possibly another 6 months, 12 months of investigation, during which this stench will continue to hold.
Wow, it take that long? That ain't how it work in the United States. Did you see what happened to Diddy? They raided his home. And then what happened? Wasn't it like soon after that, they picked him up in New York City and put him in jail? When does he get out, by the way? Does anybody have his P. Diddy, Sean P. Combs' release date? I would be curious to know what his release date is. So, because we're going to cover that for sure. But I know this is damaging the royal family, but I don't know if it will break the royal family, because there are a lot of monarchists in the UK that love their monarch and believe that Charles is a great king, and he did not do the sins of his brother. Wow. So 6 months to a year? Wow, that is not how it happens in the United States. If they pick you up, they keeping you. Or whatever. Right? Am I right? Am I wrong? He won't get out. You don't think? I thought he was supposed to get out in October or November. Are they charging him for something else? Can they do that? That's a whole nother to-do-we.
The royal family, and indeed politics. I think the big question that nobody's asking is, why is Andrew in police under questioning? Why isn't Peter Mandelson, who in many ways has, as far as we know, allegedly done even worse in terms
Well, can I jump in and put that to Matt, because I think Trevor's absolutely right. I'm not sticking up in any way for that thing. But how is Mandelson still in his massive mansion in Wiltshire? Why hasn't he had his collar felt at 8 o'clock in the morning?
I can only assume, with no prior knowledge, that they're different police forces. I think the Met were looking into Peter Mandelson. This was Thames Valley Police, so slightly different investigation, slightly different forces. My understanding from reports is Mandelson will be invited in, or whether that be arrested or voluntary interview, in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I think it is coming. And I think, again, it will be a similar offence of misconduct in public office rather than anything with regards to sexual impropriety with Epstein or anything other.
It's astonishing, though, Trev. I bet in all of your lifetime you've never seen anything like this. I mean, it rocks. And the thing that I wanted to say to you both is that I get all the time now from people is just make people start to question almost everything about our establishment, not just the royal family, but who knew what, who goes where, who gets dirty little secrets covered up. My old man said to me once, and he worked for the Queen Mother, the best Jeremy Kyle show that you never did was the royal family, because they are more messed up than anybody else. And it does make you think, right?
No, I mean, they've got money, but they're a family like anyone else with their dysfunctionality and arguments. And
That is surprising to me. When Maureen says this, guys, sometimes it can take years for cases to go to court in the UK. Wow, really? Shoot. But the government doesn't love the monarchy, and there is a loud anti-monarchy group, says Debbie. Hello to you too, Debbie. That's sad. There need to be a louder group that is for them. What, the Sussex Squad? It's a shame to let down the family like that. It is the biggest humiliation. Oh yeah, he fell from grace hard. He did the unthinkable. You know, he did some major crimes. Shame on you, Andrew. I heard he was in there being cocky to the staff and telling them to call him sir, because they don't know what to call him anymore, because his name ain't Prince Andrew. So they've been calling him Andrew. He wants them to call him sir. I'm going to get to it. What? He's been a king for 5 minutes, and he was the Harry all this time. Harry, he was the Harry. Oh, I didn't get that, husband. Like, he was Harry. Harry's his father.
whatever else that goes on behind closed doors. And I think that's ultimately the thing. These are human beings like anyone else. And I think that the thing that gets people most annoyed, and the reason I was most shocked he actually was arrested, albeit not charged at the moment, is I feel immune, and I think most people do, to essentially wealthy elites who seem to have, throughout my period of life, and no doubt yours and anyone else in history, have a different set of rules to those of us lower down the food chain when it comes to the law.
I agree, and I have to say, Trev, I think that is, I mean, some readers would be put in this absolutely. The hard-working, alarm clock working Brits are suddenly going, whether it's immigration or it's the royal family or it's the whole thing, they're going, hold on a minute, we've only ever lived our lives correctly, and we seem to, what the hell is going on? I think that's a general consensus, don't you think, Trevor?
Well, I think that they are a family, of course, and as Matt says, like anyone else, but they are not quite like anyone else. They have this enormous privilege which protects them and surrounds them, and actually keeps them away from real life. They do not understand what it's like to have to get up in the morning and go to work and actually have to survive on the product of that work. They do not live by what they do. They are simply handed on a plate. And I think that automatically breeds a form of corruption in itself, in the sense that you have a feeling of entitlement, which is quite clearly a major ingredient in the personality of Prince Andrew, to an extreme. And I do wonder, actually, whether there's a case here for questioning whether Prince Andrew is wholly sane. I mean, the man has had the most appalling upbringing and being spoiled from the moment he was born. I think that there's at least one or two in the state of the name tags for anxieties and mental health, at least a couple that could be attached to Andrew and his arrogance, his boorishness, his inability to see that he is an unpleasant character who is doing the country harm. That is a very strange sort of narcissism, which is almost clinical.
It's quite true. You got to go. You got time for one more question?
One more.
One more question.
Running around arrogant, acting narcissistic. In what way? I haven't seen it, but I would love to know more.
A big press conference, Reform 11 o'clock at Dover, talking to Zia, talking to Nigel as well. They say that they will pledge if they win election a visa ban on Pakistan and 5 other countries with high Muslim populations that refuse to take back illegal migrants. They will deport 300,000 a year in what is being called by certain papers an ICE-style removal force. I know you've got to go. Just love your response to that. Last week on holiday, when all this Andrew thing, right, came out, I thought of 2 words. Andrew Loney. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning. Very nice to be back with you again.
Lovely to have you back.
Hello, Hudson.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Good morning. I just wanted to explain. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What I was saying was Prince at the time, Charles, was the Harry of his time because of the way he treated Diana. He was not in everyone's favor. Him and Camilla both. They dragged him through the mud for years in tabloids. He was voted the most unpleasing, let's just say, I don't like the word hate, so unpleasing person.
Charles. Yeah.
Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I think people forget how quickly the tides have turned with the royal family, and they just exalt whoever is popular at the time, and they dismiss the people that's not. There was a time not that long ago where Harry was the most favorable person in the whole entire world, him and the Queen.
Yeah, that is so right.
So I think a lot of people, I'm not going to tell people what to do, but this is the way my instinct is going, that people really need to step back and assess really what they're saying, because this whole, oh, I love the Queen, I like the Queen too, the Queen was my girl, oh, the Queen, I love the Queen, and I love this one, and William and Kate. There's been a lot of instances where William was said to have a lot of anger issues. This is before Meghan was even around. So
Harry? Yes.
No, not Harry. William as well.
Oh, William.
Both of them.
Okay, sorry.
I think William has a lot of charm, but he's also very protective, just like Harry was. Harry's just a bumbling fool. That's the only difference. He has a little bit more sense than Harry. But
yes.
What's to say they're not both spoiled?
Right. I think they're both
to them.
I really do.
They don't owe us nothing. That's the way they're raised. So I'm not saying that, because when I say that, other people are like, well, Harry's this and Meghan's this. It's not about that. We all know what time it is with Meghan and Harry, because they're terrible actors. But
Right. Yes. Exactly.
where's all this behavior being learned from? They are royalty as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, the arrogance, the narcissistic ness that Andrew carries around, and thought that he was above the law and this was okay to do. Disgusting.
Yes, and
Debbie,
then people.
Debbie, what do you mean? Even among royalists, there is a disappointment that Charles is letting down the British citizens in favor of others. What do you mean? I would love to know.
Even when it comes to Harry, and you bring up something like, I'll bring up Harry, like, where did Harry get this behavior from? And
Yeah.
people say, well, Andrew this and Andrew that. So he was able to harvest behavior from Andrew, and at the same time, no one knew what Andrew was doing. So which is it? Like, people need to connect these dots. You can't just throw something out there. Like,
Yeah, Ellie thinks so too. Like, she thinks exactly like you do too. See, I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't know until they started stripping him of his stuff. And I believe they knew then.
so they didn't know when Andrew was in the park in the night. Was it the early 2000s, 90s, when Epstein first got arrested?
Who got arrested?
When Jeffrey first got arrested, and Andrew
Right.
was seen in the park. That wasn't just yesterday. That was years ago.
I really believe they knew.
My child wasn't even born then.
Yeah.
He's an adult now.
Wow.
If they covered it up then, what's to say that they didn't cover it up earlier? I don't believe that there's a person. I mean, Jeffrey took pictures in the throne room. I don't believe that there is a person.
Like, they should have did something more with Andrew. And I'm trying to figure out what more they could have done.
It's common behavior. It's common behavior.
Stripped him of his titles, stripped him of his duties, stripped him of the family business, ostracized him, kick him they can't kick him out on the street, obviously.
Why not?
They could, but they're not doing that.
They didn't do anything until they started receiving public pressure.
That's true. That's true. And I think that comes from William.
Why?
Because I feel like Charles felt sorry for his brother. And that's not an excuse to his behavior or anything.
So how does that mean that? I'm only asking because this whole narrative that William is some white knight has been thrown around a lot. So, and I'm trying to understand the why.
I'm not throwing him around as the savior either. But are you saying that William may have known too?
Of course. I think they've all known, and I think there's other idiosyncrasies and stuff that they hide. Because never complain, never explain. That whole thing with Catherine and that AI photo, and I don't care what anybody says, that photo, it was AI. She tried to cover it up and say, oh no, it was edited. When have they ever explained themselves?
Yeah, it did, Maureen. You're right. Yep, they don't.
He got a little too hot. When they knew that if people found out that that was AI, that they would start really digging into other images and stuff like that.
Well, look what happened. He got arrested. Something is happening.
And it's going to take more than some, a little bit of charm and smiles here and there, a trip to the soup kitchen and nice clothes for me to just be like, oh, I love them. Catherine is beautiful. She dresses real nice and all that stuff. But I don't know that lady.
Yeah, I get it.
And look what has happened to a lot of our most beloved celebrities nowadays. We're starting to
Yeah,
get
they did take time to act.
it's just I like it's not unfathomable for it to be a letdown. It's been going on, especially a lot recently with celebrities, some of our most beloved celebrities. Look what happened to Bill Cosby. Look what happened to, before he what anybody. Right now, they a lot of celebrities are in hiding because
Yeah,
they don't
but
want to
Bill
be called on the
Cosby is not
public.
Charles. They're two different people. And so Bill Cosby did the crime. So did Andrew. It looks like he's gonna have to do the time.
Yeah, I
But I
know they're
don't
not the
want to
same, but I'm
blame
saying
for
the way the
my
media.
brother's sins.
I understand that, and it's not. I don't.
Exactly, Carl.
It's not his brother's sins. It's the sins for covering up your brother. It's his own sins. That's not his brother's sins. If you covered up for him, if you lied to the public, the media probably knew. If you used your power and privilege and authority to overstep and keep your brother safe, that's your own sins. That's not your brother's sins.
See, and I think differently. I don't think they were trying to protect him. I think it was just a matter of time before they got him on arrest warrants and arrested him. Like what else? And I'm with Demon Dictator. Like what else was she supposed to do other than what they've been doing?
This is what they've been doing publicly. Things like this don't get out to the public till much, much later. That stuff should have been nipped in the bud a long, long time ago.
And
What's your
look
name?
what's going on in America. Nobody is being accused or being accountable for the behavior in Epstein, and it happened here first.
That's a problem too. But one problem, just because one problem is not being addressed, doesn't mean that negates the other problem.
But the
That's
other
a big
problem
problem
isn't
too.
addressed. How's it not being addressed and he was arrested?
Who?
Oh, you're talking about Charles.
No, I'm talking about the whole Epstein, because there's a lot of celebrities and stuff. The people on that list everyone needs to be called to the
Oh yeah.
to the podium.
Yeah.
And the way Andrew is, I believe that he's gonna talk, and I think that that's another reason why, because people, especially in the royal family, they flit around. I don't want to say the P word, but
Let's go to London now
drag,
and catch up with Sky News contributor, News Corp correspondent as
they drag their feet because they know they have their own skeletons in the closet, and Andrew is a spoiled brat who will sing like a canary. Like, well, they won't invite me to the birthday party, so I'm tearing this whole thing down. Like, that's the type of person he is.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. He's like this little spoiled brat. Let's listen.
As well for Europe, Sophie Osworth. Good to talk to you, Sophie. We're going to get the lowdown on former Prince Andrew. Where's he at the moment? I believe a lot of the locals are pretty cranky at him.
They are indeed, Chris. Look, I've just spent 3 or 4 days at Sandringham, where it was really a circus around there. There were security guards, there were police officers, there was a huge amount of media contingency after former Prince's arrest last week. Now, we know that at Royal Lodge at Windsor, they're continuing to trawl through his property as this investigation is ongoing, Chris. And there on screen, we saw someone put up that front page photo that went around the world of him when he left the police station, hanging up in the Louvre in Paris. That was put up by...
Oh my God. Wow, Andrew, they put a picture of you looking scared and frightened in the Louvre. What is the Louvre?
It's the historical art museum in Paris, the one that used to
be, it's called the Louvre.
The Louvre.
Yes, CC, yes, she is. Yep.
It's where
She answered no questions.
it's one of King Louis's old palaces.
The loo. They have put him in the loo, guys. Look at this. Snap, crackle, and Papa Do. Andrew scandal escalates after arrest. Why was
They
he
may be
down looking like that? Looking like he just spooked out. He looked like he was scared.
they may be pushing this Andrew stories because of that other story of the prince that was unaliving people. What was it, Denmark or Switzerland or something?
Oh, I don't know.
See, nobody's talking about that over here.
Is that recent?
Yeah. I know somebody in the chat knows what I'm talking about.
Have to. You're absolutely right, Hudson. Anybody know about that story? We could definitely follow it. But OMG, look at him in the loo at the museum, posted up, looking like who did it and why. He looked like, did anybody see me just come out the police station? Yes, we saw you.
By an activist group, which was taken down 15 minutes later. But I can assure you, Chris, it's going to be another very grim week for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor as the spotlight continues on him for his relationship and friendship that he had with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I'll come back to that photo in a moment. But first up, let's have a look at some of the people you spoke to at Norfolk.
You've all seen the photographs, along with Mandelson and all of them. No, they're not very nice people, and they should be extradited to America, where he should face proper accusations.
He should have been spanked as a child. It's about time.
Oh, she said he should have been spanked. He should have got a whooping. He didn't get a spanking.
And he got his comeuppance, really.
No, we don't want him here, but we still want justice to be done.
Yeah, I think those people are talking a lot of sense, Sophie. But so far, has the anger and resentment focused only on Andrew, or has it spread broader to the rest of the royal family?
Well, it's really mainly on Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, Chris, because he's the one who hasn't said anything about this, and he's the one that remains under police investigation, and it's waiting to see whether this goes in, further down the track, and will he be charged with any offences? Now, I must stress he has always denied any wrongdoing in terms of his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. But Chris, this is not looking good, and just in reports today in the London Sun, the word is that he's telling his few staff, he's only got a couple now, to address him as Sir still. And
Wow.
He's sitting there with his...
Did you hear that? Address him as Sir. Address me as Sir still. Well, what else are they going to address him as? Andrew? I think Andrew is going to be a Mimi for a long time. That's scared to do. Look, it's ridiculous. Hilarious. It is hilarious. Oath was defender of faiths. Oh. Interesting, Debbie. Also, I wonder if they start doing their investigations, can they start exposing the Americans involved? Yes. And using international law to put pressure on USA to do something. They can. It will. All he has to do is sing like a bird. It didn't seem like it went down well with many British citizens, Debbie. It looked like they were a little upset about his situation and what's going on. But I didn't hear them say anything about King Charles, that he needs to abdicate.
6 or 7 dogs. It's pretty lonely out there at Wood Farm, Chris. I mean, we were out the front of it for days. There's not an awful lot to do there. He's literally in the middle of a rural estate with not much around.
Now, he's 8th in line for succession, so in many ways it's academic, but I still think a lot of people will want to see him taken out of the line of succession. That would require action by the British Parliament and Commonwealth parliaments like Australia's, wouldn't it?
Well, there is a lot of talk about this here in Britain, Chris, that Keir Starmer needs to act to pass through an act of parliament to do this. But other commentators are saying, look, this is a complete distraction away from the main issue here of the police investigation. He won't become king. He's 8th in line to the throne. It's, very unlikely that he will. And this is just a distraction to the issue. But let's see where this police investigation goes, Chris, because no doubt it's an awful time as he sits there pretty much on his own with his dogs. And his security guards were seen on the weekend at the local supermarkets stocking up on beer, and the Waitrose supermarket truck was arriving at his farm with lots of goods. So he's sitting there pretty lonely.
Yeah, I think it's important for the credibility of the monarchy, though, that perhaps look at this line of succession thing, because it places him in that powerful position, that possibly powerful position. I joked on the weekend if Prince Charles had drowned at Bondi when he visited here before he was married and had...
He said that he wants his people to call him sir. And not just sir, but also go fetch him some beer. That's what the ex-prince is wanting. He's sitting there ordering these people around and being disrespectful. Be careful, Andrew. That's why you're in the predicament that you're in. Some beer. Some beer, okay? Go get me some beer and call me sir. That was just rude.
Children, Prince Andrew would be our king now, so it's perhaps a good idea to go through that process to knock him off the line of succession. We'll see. But elsewhere, people are trying to get rid of his name on some landmarks.
Oh,
they are indeed, Chris. Look, I went down to a street in Jerseyham, which is just a couple of miles from where he's residing, and I asked locals because one of the streets there is called Prince Andrew Drive, and I spoke to them and asked them should they change the name. And Chris, surprise, surprise, there were some who said, yes, get rid of it, yes, but others who said, keep it.
Yeah, dear, oh dear. I'll tell you what, I just want to finish off with a bit of a laugh. I mentioned that photo, that now famous photo that's been displayed in the Louvre by activists. Look at what some people did with the help of AI, I think, a little social media meme. Have a look. The horror, Sophie, the horror, not the king's portrait at all, but that horror.
Surprise, surprise, there were some who said, yes, get rid of it, yes, but others who said, keep it.
Yeah, dear, oh dear. I'll tell you what, I just want to finish off with a bit of a laugh. I mentioned that photo, that now famous photo that's been displayed in the Louvre by activists. Look at what some people did with the help of AI, I think, a little social media meme. Have a look.
Hello, you back?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, God. Yes, welcome back. That was funny. That was AI, though.
Horror, Sophie, the horror, not the king's portrait at all, but that horrible photo of his now infamous brother. Thanks so much for joining us, Sophie. Really appreciate it.
Following Prince Andrew's arrest, Us Weekly delves into the former royals and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein and what it could mean for the monarchy's future in this week's cover story. In the early morning hours of February 19th, unmarked vehicles arrived at Sandringham Estate, the country residence of King Charles III. Authorities arrested Andrew on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Investigators allege he shared confidential information with Epstein during his tenure as the UK's trade envoy from 2001 to 2011. Police searched both his new home on the Sandringham grounds and his former residence, Royal Lodge. Hours later, Andrew was released. Charles issued a personally signed statement saying he learned of his brother's arrest with the deepest concern, adding that the law must take its course. Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, are said to support the king's position, with the source telling us they are disgusted and appalled by what's come out. Andrew has become the first senior royal arrested in centuries, and if charged and convicted, he could face a life sentence. And according to sources, family members were blindsided, and Charles has not spoken directly to his brother. The arrest follows the release of more than 3 million pages of documents by the U.S. Department of Justice related to Epstein's case. The file shed new light on Andrew and Sarah's connections to the disgraced financer. An anti-monarchy group filed a complaint with the Thames Valley Police alleging the new documents suggest Andrew shared privileged information with Epstein. The correspondence appears to show ongoing contact beyond what Andrew previously acknowledged. Additional documents unsealed in late 2025 indicate Andrew emailed Epstein in 2011 after a British newspaper published a photo of him with Virginia Giuffre, who accused him of sexual assault when she was 17. Andrew denied the allegations, and the two reached an out-of-court settlement in 2022. Now, Ferguson, who once called her association with Epstein a gigantic error of judgment, is also facing renewed scrutiny. Emails suggest she and her daughters had contact with Epstein shortly after his release from prison in 2009. Now, the fallout extends to their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who sources describe as devastated and in a total state of shock, with the source adding, the sisters are very united, and they don't want to be associated with the scandal. They don't want to spend a lot of time with Fergie and Andrew. As Andrew and Ferguson face mounting legal and public pressure, sources say they are increasingly isolated. Once shielded by Queen Elizabeth II, Andrew now finds himself without his strongest protector, with royal author Christopher Anderson telling us, Andrew, in particular, has always had a sense of entitlement that was extreme even in royal circles. You got the sense he felt he could get away with anything, and he could, as long as he could run to the late Queen for protection. Now, as family members turn their backs on the former couple, and their inner circle continues to shrink, Andrew and Sarah Ferguson are leaning on each other, with the source saying they are miserable, and misery loves company.
Wow.
It's time for Lefty.
Wow, guys.
This is not like they, stole a bag from Saks Fifth Avenue. This is the rape and abuse and trafficking of young children, daughters, and some sons. So if they knew, even the girls, they're adults now. Everybody's feet need to be called to the flame. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't care if you know anyway. And even if you don't know, these are your people. That's no excuse either. If you didn't know that you can't cross the street, you'll still get a ticket. You can't cross during a green light and you do it and be like, well, I didn't know. You think they care? You still get a ticket. Why didn't you know? Why weren't you paying attention? You could have saved lives.
Yeah, that is true. Could have saved lives. That right there.
Especially when you're supposed to be the monarch. You're supposed to be the king. You're supposed to be the queen. These are supposed to be your people. Like, oh gosh, it's not your neighbors next door that you was like, my name Bennett and I ain't in it. These are your people. I'm sorry. Go on. I'm so sorry. Running my mouth.
No, and understand. You feel passionate about it, and you should express it. Yes, and a lot of people think that way too. Peter Mandelson has been arrested. Breaking news. They done took him in now. What is his name? Peter
Mandelson. I found the prince now. It's the Prince of Norway. He's accused of rape and assault.
That's that you was telling me about earlier.
Yeah, he's young too.
Put it in the. Can you put it in my private chat? The link?
Yeah, I put it in there. In the back. All right, I'm going on mute, y'all. Sorry.
Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, I had it. Where did he go? Peter Mandelson arrested by police breaking sky. Let's pull it up real quick. They're wrapping them up, ain't they?
Like dominoes. This won't be the first monarchy to, get dismantled.
Someone informed, and he can exercise those rights at any time while he's detained. If he's got a solicitor, he will name his solicitor, and either he's contacted them already, or the custody officer or another detective will phone them and ask them to attend the station And he's also allowed to have somebody informed of his arrest if they haven't already been informed. So the same rights will be explained.
I'm staticking. Come on. I think I'm stuck.
Reload that page. Maybe it needs that.
Are you there, sweetheart? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about them, and it makes perfect sense, you know, how you feel about that. And
I understand why you feel the way you do too, because it's hard. And who's to say? I don't know. I'm just giving my own, theory. Yours
yeah,
is just as right, and I know you have a lot of respect and appreciation for this family, and it is what it is. I want to go back, not with you. I'm not going to force anybody what to do, but I just wish somebody would go back and look at the archives of the news stories and even the tabloids, because it seems to change at their convenience. I want to hear some old stories, even with William. There's the accusations and all that. These people are not gods. That's their problem now. They think they're gods. No, not him. Mendelsohn was a UK ambassador to the US who resigned. Hopefully he'll rat Starmer out. Excuse me, I don't have my glasses on. Hillary Clinton is testifying now. She makes explosive claims of Trump's connection to Epstein. Now, here's the funny thing about that. Did anyone read Virginia's book? In her book, she said, because she worked at Mar-a-Lago, however you say it, Trump's Island. She said a lot of Epstein's girls work there, but she's never seen Trump commit anything. And she's seen it all. The way Virginia wrote that book, as if to say she was the quote unquote bottom BITCH, or like, the main one, the first one that started all, the one that like the supervisor too, or the manager. Like she was one step above Ghislaine by force, though. And she said a lot of Epstein's girls worked at Mar-a-Lago, but she never saw Trump participate. And she's never heard any of the girls say that he participated on them, which is still an issue as well. It's an issue if you would participate, if you gave Epstein a leg up or you provided your business in order to house these girls and stuff like that. Pickle says, no, I haven't read the book, read VG's book, not yet. It's on Audible. And if you didn't know, I know some people just don't know. For purchases that you make on Amazon, you get free credits from Audible and you could listen to whatever books you want. And that's how I obtained Virginia's book. So while I'm cleaning or on the road or waiting for my daughter to get out of dance, I would listen to the book.
What could you, little? Okay, I'm pulling it back up.
Yes, exactly. He definitely going to have to answer for that. Why were they working at Mar-a-Lago? There you go. That's how you say it. Thank you. Thank you, Carl. And you're welcome, Pickles.
Yeah, it is.
If y'all want, I don't know if I can put it in the chat right now. Give you a link to the book. Hold on just a moment.
Mandelson's time as
If I cut out, my
business
bad.
secretary, and this follows two of his properties previously being searched by police in connection with the allegations, which surfaced, like the allegations against Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, which surfaced following the Department of
We
Justice's
can't hear it.
document dump relating
You can't?
to
Tisha, okay.
Epstein,
I thought
which
she was
happened
Why did you tell
last
me?
month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can you rewind it? I can't hear you either.
Let me take it out. You can't hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can't hear me.
Y'all let me run my mouth. I can't hear anything. Hold on.
Could you hear the video? Okay.
Getting the governments of the Commonwealth realms involved. It seems like the Australian Prime Minister might have done.
Or two, that puts us closer to 8 or 9 o'clock. They're not going to interview him much past, I would imagine, midnight, unless it's just literally interview him and then release him under investigation.
Is it likely this could be a shorter investigation because the searches of the properties have taken place already? I think they began searching the properties in early February the 5th or 6th, I think. So, but with Andrew, you know, the searches have been ongoing in the last few days, certainly. Could it be a shorter investigation?
Well, it's possible that they've arrested him to bring him in just to carry out an initial interview under caution at the police station with his legal representatives. It may well be that they're already almost like ready to do the interview. So they've just got to bring him in. He will still be booked in, still be searched, but it may well be the detectives and possibly even his legal representative are already for an interview. So it could almost go straight into the police station and straight into an interview.
Can you hear me
and
now?
depending what stage the investigation is at, he could then be released under investigation. It depends.
Are you on mute? Let's see.
I can hear now. I can hear now. Let me see if I can hear them.
Okay, great. Great.
And we don't know enough details about the investigation. It depends at what stage they're at, what information they've got, the questions they've already got to put in they want to get either answers to or he's entitled to make no comment applies to them, or even have a prepared statement. But he will be allowed to have a consultation with his legal representative, and they will then decide whether they're going to answer questions, issue a prepared statement, or just make no comment. And it's up to the investigators then to decide what happens next.
Yeah, and just finally, Graham, I mean, this is an extraordinary situation. You've got Thames Valley Police who are investigating former Prince Andrew for misconduct in public office, and now you have the Metropolitan Police investigating a senior politician or former senior politician, or certainly a man who, when these allegations what the what they relate to the Downing Street operation.
Yeah, they're same offence to the family as a trade envoy, but clearly there's going to be some crossover at some point with some of the information that's been shared or passed on, but at the moment being dealt with very separately. My understanding is there is almost like a central investigation, central overview by the National Police Chiefs Council with all the forces involved in it. So forces that are looking at flights in and out the UK, trade envoys' role, ambassadors' role, details from government. So there will be some sort of central unit that will be overseeing all these, albeit we have, at the moment, we've got two separate police forces running almost like a similar type offence they are investigating with two different individuals.
Yeah. Graham, thank you very much for coming on once again. It doesn't seem that long ago since we were talking, but thank you very much indeed. Just to repeat what we know this evening, and it is that Lord Mandelson, Peter Mandelson, has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The Metropolitan Police have said that a 72-year-old man was taken to a London police station for interview today. The former Labour minister has been accused of passing sensitive information, really, onto the paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein during Mandelson's time as business secretary, and this follows two of his properties previously being searched by police in connection with the allegations, which surfaced, like the allegations against Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, which surfaced following the Department of Justice's document dump relating to Epstein, which happened last month. Let's go back to our chief political correspondent, John Craig. And John, I mean, it's impossible to look at these pictures and not think of the political problems. I mean, obviously there's the legal problems now for Peter Mandelson, but the political problems that all this has caused for Keir Starmer.
And that's the point being made by senior Conservatives. We spoke here on Sky News a short time ago to Sir Mel Stride, the Shadow Chancellor, and he said it speaks to a lack of judgment on the part of the Prime Minister and obviously in appointing him as ambassador. The arrest came at the very moment Darren Jones, the Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister, to the Cabinet, was addressing MPs in the Commons on the latest developments on the publication of all those.
Breaking news from London now. Police there say former UK ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, has been arrested. It is in connection to a misconduct probe over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The 72-year-old was arrested at an address in Camden and brought to a London police station for interviews.
Wow.
Mandelson previously denied any wrongdoing.
Of other types of quote unquote Epsteins coming up to her in like parties and trying to swindle her away from him, just like in the pimp game, you know, like they tried to like, oh, come to my team, you would make more money in my team, that type of mess.
Oh, wow. Next, Sarah Ferguson and daughter need questioning to police. Ooh, that's what Terry is saying. Sweetheart.
I said very true.
Yeah.
Because I used to work at entertainment, but I just don't want to go there right now. But look at Polanski. We'll mention him. Look at Polanski. He's still walking all around. Is it Paris that he's in or Switzerland? I don't know. Whoever has no extradition. And he was still doing movies. Scarlett Johansson did a movie with him in the last, decade or two? And his thing started off in the 70s? His scandal? They all know what Polanski's about and people still work with him.
Wow. He's watching the Congress.
You.
She said Trump is going to deny it. Ooh. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, this is her book.
Now, you're watching Good Morning Britain. So, our lead story this morning, it's being reported that the late Queen and King Charles both let...
Here is... Hudson put this in the side chat for us. And I'm going to post it in comment section if you guys want to check out Virginia's book. Thank you, Hudson.
You're welcome.
But
I was like, wait, I did? I posted it. I was like, oh yeah, I did.
Why do you say that, Debbie? Okay, let me see if I have anything that sticks out with Andrew.
Last week on holiday, when all this Andrew thing, right, came out, I thought of two words. Andrew Loney. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning. Very nice to be back with you again.
Lovely to...
As you probably heard, former Prince Andrew was arrested on suspicion of misconduct.
I spoke to a Royal Protection Officer.
Di Davis.
Di Davis.
Here's the moment the former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor left the police station looking stunned after 11 hours in custody. But a huge investigation is still underway. His homes, including a 30-room mansion in Windsor, are being searched. And now police are questioning his former close protection officers about what they knew.
Ooh.
Andrew is being investigated in connection with allegations of two crimes, both connected with Jeffrey Epstein.
They're asking his people now.
One is misuse of public office when he was Britain's trade ambassador.
Ooh.
The other has to do with Epstein's network of women, including a recent allegation by one who says she was flown on Epstein's private jet to England for sex with the former prince. The family of the late Virginia Guthrie, who settled out of court with Mountbatten Windsor, told British television they're encouraged.
Today was a win for all survivors out there. This is the next step in actual justice.
There is a but, though.
In the U.S., in our very own backyard, we have seen far less action, and it is quite shameful on our part.
Andrew's relationship with Epstein has rocked the country and the royal family, who are dogged by reporters wherever they go.
How do you feel about your brother's arrest?
Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue?
What's your reaction to your brother's arrest, sir?
King Charles has distanced the family from Andrew. He's stripped him of his honours and titles, and this week said the law must take its course. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.
Whoa.
So last weekend, the weekend before Valentine's Day, and I do think that part of this little tour all around LA this past Valentine's Day weekend, plus that Instagram post, were to counter the rumors that are rife. They are all over the place that this marriage is in crisis, is in jeopardy, that Harry is over it. And your observation.
Righto, now for more on our top story. Let's get some reaction from the political fallout from the Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, his arrest, as well as a sense of how the public has...
All right, let us go to the United Kingdom right now where the wonderful Mark Dolan is standing by. You can see him on Talk TV over there. Find him on YouTube as well, or hang out with us each and every Sunday. Great man, lovely to see you.
Hi, Paul. Happy Sunday.
Now, it feels like I've got to get a flow chart here, but let me bring everyone up to date, right? The reason I think Keir Starmer could actually be at the end is, yes, they've been chopping away at him for a long time. His own mistakes, chopping away for a long time, right? Really? I think this is what's going to be perhaps an impetus for those who want to push him, but...
A corruption minister who's being investigated for corruption and a transport minister that stole a mobile phone. So the government was a hot mess before the Mandelson affair. And he's really created a rod for his own back because Mandelson comes from an entirely different generation of politicians. Mandelson was the architect of Tony Blair's political revolution, very much the territory now of last straw and camel's back.
Yeah, I mean, that
right.
Anything post 2008.
Definitely, and there's no well of goodwill towards Starmer out there in to be wrong uns, and right, we'll be on eBay. That's the buy it now price. Or maybe Donald Trump will do us a favor, pick us up, Paul.
51st state, or sorry, 52nd, of course, after Canada. Now, I noticed on your YouTube channel that you went to a place that I've got to say I've been thinking about, but you were more courageous than I, so now I get to follow your lead, which is about Andrew's kids, right? Now, obviously, they want to remain princesses. They want to remain sort of out and about. They want to remain part of polite society. And on your YouTube page, you delivered a bit of an insight and an editorial that, look, you know, if they have to choose, pretty obvious who they're going to end up choosing here, and that's the wider family, no matter how painful that is for the relationship with the father. What blowback did you get after you started saying that?
Regarding Andrew, I think he should be treated like everybody else. If this was like your next door neighbour and you found out that he'd been messing about and sexually assaulting girls, despite the fact that he denies it, he would be hung, drawn and quartered. So why shouldn't Andrew be hung, drawn and quartered? You know, at the end of the day, you know, he's abused his position, he's brought disrepute on the royal family, and let's face it, when he goes to prison, it'll be in a nice little private sector. It won't be like if I did anything, I'd be put in with general population, you know, and God knows what would happen to me. But he won't, he'll be protected all the time. So, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander in my eyes.
Thank you for that, Pete. And you're, of course, right to stress that Andrew Mountbatten denies all allegations that face him. But I take your point. It's very considered. Sean, morning, Mark. I'm totally convinced that Keith Stalin has lied to Trump over the Chagos Islands and is doing everything he can to destroy any relationship that we have with the US by denying permission to use our bases. I used to think he was useless. Now I think he's dangerous, says Sean.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we just did that. I'm closing it down, guys. Just a sec.
Each other, and we're calling each other names, and
This is Dan Wooden, and he is overly excited about throwing King Charles out. I may watch that tomorrow. He's still filming it. All right, guys. We have done it. And done it, and done it, and done it, and done it, and done it. Great live, everyone.
Thank you, Letitia, for always providing a platform and, you know, really looking into everything and speaking with an unbiased tongue. And, you know, not a lot of people give us lives out here. They just push their own narratives and stuff like that. But you're always open to a different way of viewing, and I really do appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for your opinion. I do value it a lot, and I appreciate you voicing it, because everybody's not going to agree with what I'm saying in my
I'm going to
point of
step down. I don't know if she can hear me, but or she knows that I can't hear her. So I'm going to step down. Thank you for having me, y'all.
Bye, lovely. Bye-bye. Well, guys, listen. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Let me just check one thing real quick. Let me check once. Let me just check. Okay. And let me just check one more thing really quick. Oh, this is good. Let's watch this. This was 8 hours ago, guys. Let's see this real quick. Now, the same day that Andrew got arrested, this idiot posts something, Megan, on her Insta page. Check this out. The Lulu.
Andrew was arrested, Meghan Markle was sharing a message to her followers. She sent an email promoting her candle products as part of her As Ever brand, saying, when the temperature drops, we start by striking a match, a steady flame on the table, soft light in the corners of the room, the familiar comfort of a scent that instantly changes the mood. Just beautiful marketing there, Kinsey.
Choo-choo.
You're so delulu. I want to have whatever Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are having because, wow, it is. I mean, while the UK watched a senior royal taken into custody, there's Meghan Markle sending out a glossy email pushing her wickless candles.
Yes!
A masterclass in tone-deaf timing.
On the same day that
oblivious to everything. Why in the hell would she? She just has to be the center of attention no matter what it is. Andrew is going through his own moment, okay? And she's upset because she's not the center of attention. It's really nasty. This is not even tone deaf. This is how much she cares about people. This is how much her stuff means more than anyone else's in the world. Put yourself aside and put me at the forefront. The royal family is having a major crisis, and she's posting stuff to her Instagram about wickless candles and the scamadoo jamma scam. Look at this.
Andrew was arrested, Meghan Markle was sharing a message to her followers. She sent an email promoting her candle products as part of her As Ever brand, saying, when the temperature drops, we start by striking a match, a steady flame on the table, soft light in the corners of the room, the familiar comfort of a scent that instantly changes the mood. Just beautiful marketing there, Kinsey.
You're so delulu.
This is her, tone deaf. This is what she wrote on her wall. When the temperature drops, we start by striking a match, a steady flame on the table, soft light in the corners of the room, the familiar comfort of a scent that instantly changes the mood. What mood? This is that stupid stuff. Look at King Charles. Looking like
so delulu. I want to have whatever Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are having because, wow, it is. I mean, while the UK watched a senior royal taken into custody, there's Meghan Markle sending out a glossy email pushing her wickless candles, a masterclass in tone-deaf timing. Proof that self-awareness is not a part of her brand strategy.
Self-awareness is no. She has Can you believe that, guys? Can you believe that she posts something on Andrew's birthday when he got arrested, was posting about her wick and her jamma scam?
But you know, what do we expect when he was stripped of his titles They were front and center at a Dodgers game being booed as, chaos ensued over the DOJ dump. Here's Harry and Meghan courtside at a basketball game. Let me live in this fantasy land.
Kinsey Schofield, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Fantasyland.
Fallout from the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten.
All right, guys. See you later. Kisses. I'm ending it now. Yes. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night.